I hope this works. I hope I don't have double audio. Oh, I see me. Look at that. Please. Oh, wait. Shit, I'm so out of practice. I'm so rusty. Oh, no, that's okay. That should be okay. Let's see here. It has been a hot minute since I played this game. A little bit longer than a hot minute. been a little while. Let's see if I still got it. Do I? Hey. Hi guys, how you doing? Come on in. The water's fine. Go ahead and check the title. I have a wonderful story to tell you guys. It's dude fucking 2026 has been kicking the shit out of me, dude. So bad. I wish I wish I had I'm gonna try and make it funny, but I wanted to stream just to let everybody know, but I also wanted to be able to like put this in a VOD so that everybody could be like, what the hell happened to him? Yeah, it has been too exciting of a year so far. I'm done. What? Levels are good, thank you. Yeah, no, I didn't die, and that's not a joke. I've been to the hospital a lot. I've had an organ removed. I've I've had surgery. I've had, I think, 6 ER trips, an ambulance trip. It has been a fucking nightmare, dude. You know, and I'm always joking like, "Oh, I'm not dead," blah blah blah. But now it's like, sir, you like, I don't know how else to put this. 2 doctors looked at me and they were like, I've never seen or heard of somebody having this particular test result this high. I'll give you all the details, but it's a fucking story. So I'm waiting just for everybody to kind of filter in. Okay. I have not played Elden Ring in, I think, over a year. And the very little Elden Ring that I have been playing has been Night Rain. So I'm fully expecting to die and fall to my death. Oh yeah, no, the doctors definitely know who I am. That was its own little circus. Fuck, dude. It's bad. Like, we're talking like like I had to have a conversation with a doctor about heart failure. I had the hospital chaplain come in to do my not quite my last will, but basically my last will. Which was pretty straightforward because I'm married, so it was like Sarah gets everything. But I'll get to it. I had my last appointment with a cardiologist last week. And so now between like all of my doctors, it's like, all right, we're going to see how you're doing in 6 months, but it looks like you're out of the woods here. So that's nice, right? Yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, you came into heart failure. Like, I'm like, hey guys, I didn't die. It's like, oh, I was on a deathbed, you know? So I'm like, yeah, I want to kind of give everybody a minute to filter in, but fuck me, dude. Do I have a fucking story to tell you? Oh my God. Yeah, it's been, so how have you guys been? How's life for you? Hopefully you haven't also been victimized by the American healthcare system. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, you know how people are like, oh, you know, such and such radicalized me. I had a moment when I was at a party, and I can't remember what the context was, but somebody mentioned something and I was like, oh, I think the government should pay for diapers. And everybody in the room laughed, and that always pissed me off. And I was like, yeah, that's the moment that radicalized me. I have now spent enough time in a hospital, both in the ER department and admitted to the hospital, where I'm like, no, I now feel like I have more, I am now much more specific in my anger. I think. Oh God. You got to sing with Claire Obscure? Congratulations. Yeah. Your therapist calls you your client that likes cats. That's amazing. Yeah, that was the thing. That was the thing about. Oh fuck! See, I played too much Night Rain. God damn, I'm gonna fall and die. Um, that was the thing. It was like everybody really hated on it as like Cats the musical or the movie, and it was like, yeah, you know, it looks like an eldritch horror come to life. But I was like, you know, there is like kind of a story to Cats, and they, oops, and they didn't even care to do that. You know, it was like the bar was in hell, and somehow they limboed under it. I was like, let's talk about that. Oh God, sir, I want the other Lily, just in case I got put anything to sleep. So, you became a certified paramedic this month. Congratulations. You're gonna have a lot of opinions on what I'm about to say. Oh my God. I know. Just give it another like 10 or so minutes. I want to make sure that like my internet doesn't shit out or something like that. Do I play Overwatch? I play Overwatch obsessively for a month every year. And then I never touch it again. And it's been that way since it came out. So I just got through another like bout of being obsessed with it. Who do I main? Depends on the role. I have a lot of fun with Illari. Illari? She's fun. Oh, fuck off. I forgot. Okay. I I'm not good at it. I'm like Overwatch is fun, but I'm not good at it. And it's the same with like League of Legends, you know? Where it's like I haven't played League in over a year now, but when I played it, it was like I'm having fun, but I don't win a lot. And then as soon as I win, I'm like, haha, I won one, and then I walk away. But that means that my elo is like always going down, you know? I also don't have a lot of people to play with nowadays. And yeah, no, I also play Lucio, you know. I do play Lucio, and I have the, oh fuck, I forgot about that. I do have the like orchestra conductor Sigma skin. So I do that. Yeah. Give me like another 5 minutes, maybe find some clothes to put on my character, and I'll get to the story, the 6-month-long story of how I almost died. Twice. Sorry, I'm asking Sarah. It's like, yeah, twice. I almost died twice. Right? Yeah. The first one, yeah, okay. Okay, so yeah, almost died twice. It's gonna be. I'm gonna make it fun. It'll be fun. It'll be a heartwarming story. Don't worry, the dog doesn't die in the end. You know. Bro lost count. Yeah. No. So I'm asking Sarah. For those of you who are new or don't know, Sarah is my wife. She is my better half. She's now literally the reason I'm alive. Oh look, socially Sarah. Sarah's in the chat right now. Twice. Yeah, almost died twice. All right, where's the nearest Grace? I don't remember. So yeah, give it another 5 minutes. I keep saying that, around 3:30 my time, and we'll get to the nonsense. Is the dog in the story sideways? No, because that would be considered animal abuse, dude. Trust me. There's a lot of twists and turns to the story, and you're gonna be like, oh, okay, okay. Yes. Listen, I'm here. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Uh-oh. Pewter. Okay, we're good. The cats are fine. Sarah's gecko is fine. Sarah actually just got a hamster called Graham Cracker, and Graham Cracker is doing great. We also have 2 frogs in our fish tank that I don't take care of. Sarah does. Yes, we have a hamster. Yes, our hamster's name is Graham Cracker, and you know, Sarah's part druid, so you know, we got one of those big multi-gallon tanks, and he's got different substrates, and Sarah gave him a blueberry the other day, you know, and he's a, we've only had him for about a week or two now. 2 weeks. We've had him for 2 weeks, and he's adapting very well. So we're very, very happy about that. He is Oh God, computer. I'm ready for the next slide, please. Thank you. Wonder if that shows up on stream or if it's just me. It does show up on stream. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, Blueberry for the hamster. That's that's an accurate way of putting it. Oh, I don't remember where the grace is here. I'm gonna get killed. It's bad. No, it's good. Well, I've been kind of living off my laptop, so my computer's been off for a little bit. So I'm like, if something fucking updates, I'm gonna be furious. Oh man. So yeah, 2026 has been terrible. For me, I'm sure somebody out there is succeeding. Oh my god. Yeah, so I hope you guys are doing well. This is yeah. I know it's summer now. The schools are all out, which is nice. Yeah. Yeah, I felt that. Okay. No, leave me alone. I'm trying to... Nope, could you just... Thank you. One of the years of all time, to be sure. Dude, Germany spent the last 2 months watching a whale die? Oh my god! Only to watch the corpse then decompose. Jesus Christ! That's terrible. Did you guys hear that, like, Canvas or Blackboard or something, like, it got hacked? And so a bunch of schools, like, didn't have finals or they had problems? Yeah. Canvas, yeah. Germany was odd this year? Man, who's ever said that before? 2024 to 2026 has made your brain scream. I have a hard time because, like, I graduated with my master's in 2024, you know, which is pretty cool. I like that. Germany's still somehow better than the US. Dude, the US it's no comment. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. Oh my god. This way. You may not have a word. I'm making sure that everything... I don't need Riot Games open. Yeah, cries in American. Yeah, exactly. Oh... I don't remember what you have. Yes. Okay. Hey! Thank you. Now, I'm going to put them here. Doggies. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I've been gone for the whole 6-7 craze, and I'm kind of happy about it. All right. So, now that we're kind of in the groove, knock on wood, who here would like to hear about the story of how I almost died twice, and it was a very scary and upsetting emergency? One's in the chat. One's in the chat. I feel like this is the place I was just in. Yep, this is not where I want to be. Okay. So this all happened, and you guys will be able to track this on Twitter. This all started last year, so late November, early December-ish, around that time. So here's what happens, right? I'm sitting around, and I think we got McDonald's. Like, I had, like, chicken nuggets, and this is important, believe it or not. And I got this pain in my chest. Now, everyone and their mother is going to be like, ooh, he had a heart attack. This is bad. Don't get ahead of me because this is going to be a long story. So I start getting this pain in my chest. But it's not like where the lungs are. It's not the rib cage. And it's not my stomach. It's at the base of my sternum. So it's at the very bottom of my breastplate. You know what I mean? And it's this gnarly pain that gets worse when I breathe. And just in case anybody here is like not on the level, breathing is very important for humans, but especially if you are in Colorado. So for anybody not in America, Colorado is at altitude. The whole state is one giant mountain, basically. So we have lower oxygen than other places. So it's very common for people out of state to like come here and pass out, deal with hypoxemia. Very, very, very common. So when you have breathing problems in Colorado, it's bad. So like I was very mildly asthmatic when I would like visit my family in California. The smog would bother me. But then when I come here, I have to take a hit of my inhaler like basically once every other day. So this pain is really bad and it's paralyzing. Like I can't take a deep breath. And so, you know, we're monitoring it, and it's not getting better. And over the course of about 2 or 3 hours, like every time I breathe in, it gets a little worse. It gets a little worse. It gets a little worse. It gets to the point where I have stopped breathing, right? And Sarah and I are like, huh? What? Oh. So I'm telling the story about how I almost died. So, I can't breathe. It's really bad. It gets to the point where Sarah's like, okay, we need to go to the ER. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I wasn't, how do I put this? I wasn't in a clear mindset. Let's put it that way. So it gets to the point where I cannot breathe, period. I'm getting no oxygen. And I'm about to pass out, really fucking scared, which does not help. Right. And, well, that sucked. So Sarah calls 911, ambulance comes in. It's a big, whole thing. And they immediately hook me up to an EKG, to read my heart. They put a line in, and the entire time this is happening, I'm in pain. This sucks, and I'm in pain, and I can't breathe. So this keeps going, and they're like, all right, we're going to take you to the ER. En route to the ER, they take an EKG reading 3 separate times, and I can hear the medic being like, blah, 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 unremarkable, blah, 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 unremarkable. Everything seems totally normal, which is weird. It's like, why is this going on? I get to the ER, and they end up hitting me with something called Dilaudid. Now, I'm going to say Dilaudid a lot, because Dilaudid and I are very good friends. Because when you're on Dilaudid, it doesn't matter what you're listening to. Every piece of music is the best piece of music you've ever heard in your life. Dilaudid is a magical, magical substance that I am now a huge advocate for. I walked out of that ER speaking fluent Mandarin. I was watching K-dramas with no subtitles, and I knew exactly what was going on. It is a serious fucking drug. But Dilaudid makes you woozy. So had this chest pain, and it was like the pain was what was stopping me from taking a deep inhalation. They give me the Dilaudid, and they're like, okay, you're gonna need to like follow up with somebody. We can't see what's going on. It doesn't really seem like much. And so they sent us home, and you know, you feel like an asshole. It's like, hang on, I need the EMS, I need the ambulance, I need a small team of people to help me with this and that and the other. And they were like, okay, we're gonna give you pain meds and send you home. And the other part is like, I don't want to be like, hey, I'm in the ER, yo, you got some morphine? You know, like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be taking meds away from somebody who needs it. I don't want to look like I'm like, anyway. A few weeks go by, right? A few weeks go by, and it happens again. I get really, really bad chest pain. I'm on the couch, and I'm like, I'm moving my arms along the back of the couch. I'm trying to like find a good position to where I could breathe. It doesn't hurt too bad, because it's gnarly. It's gnarly, right? Hi, Dingosar. Good to see you. So, it happens again, and I'm freaking out. It's like, fuck, I don't know if we should like go to the ER before we have to call the ambulance, because ambulances are expensive in the States. Thankfully, Sarah works for the government, so I got real good insurance. If I didn't, holy shit, it would have been bad. And so it's like we're ready to get to the ER, and I don't know what happens, but it just stops. I literally just like take a deep breath, and then the pain is gone immediately gone. And it's really stressful because this happens a good like 2 or 3 times, right? And it comes out of nowhere. Nothing like I don't know what's causing it. Like it really freaks me out. So we schedule doctor's appointments. I see my general practitioner, and she's like, okay, you need to talk to a gastroenterologist. You know, they ran the EKG, which is good, but we need to do this, we need to do that. It's like, all right, cool. Let's do all that. That's fine. Fast forward about a month, we've got all these tests scheduled, all the doctor's appointments scheduled. We're ready to go. And I wake up in the middle of the night, and I'm not kidding, the worst chills I've ever had in my life, right? My blankets are soaked, and I mean like dripping soaked, not to be too gross, but like dripping soaked, right? And I have the worst chills I've ever had in my life. It's horrible. Now, Sarah and I are not quite on the same schedule because Sarah goes outside and I do not. So sorry, I just heard you laugh. No. And so like I'm very much a night owl, you know, and Sarah's up first thing in the morning and she's immediately like, let's vacuum. I'm like, fucking no. Yeah, and Sarah doesn't sleeping because she feeds the cats, and the cats are like, Mom, wake up, we're hungry. So I wake up, and it's not uncommon for, you know, Sarah to leave, and I'll like lie in bed for like an hour or two, and I'm like, man, I feel weird, and I have this weird lump in my throat. I think it's the epiglottis. It's the thing that separates your trachea from your esophagus. If I'm getting any of this anatomy correct, if I'm not, make fun of me. And it hurts to swallow, and I've never had this before. It feels really weird. So I get out of bed and I go to the bathroom, as one does, and I perform my morning ablutions. And as I'm standing there brushing my teeth, I'm having a weird time brushing my teeth because I can't get a deep breath, but I'm not in pain. And it feels like I ran a fucking marathon. I'm like, what the shit is going on? This, like, I can't get it deep. Like, I had to stop brushing my teeth because I was, yeah. So I go to the couch, I sit down, and I'm like, man, why am I so fucking out of breath? What's going on? And I text Sarah, and I'm like, dude, I'm having a hard time getting like a good breath of air, you know, just like literally inhaling. Kind of difficult right now. Don't know what's going on. And oh god, I'm dead. I just fucking jumped up. Anyway, so I'm giving you guys clues. We're gonna have a lot of fun going forward. Okay, so fuck, I didn't mean to be here. So I'm having a lot of trouble breathing. No me gusta, right? As a matter of fact, not something I wanted to do. So I'm having a hard time breathing. I'm dizzy, and it's to the point where, I get the sensation that I'm drowning, right? When I was a kid, I had a really bad experience with almost drowning. Still love pools, but that's another story for another time. And so it doesn't feel like I'm going for like a hike or like a marathon or jogging, you know, getting Hot Pockets from the fridge. It's like I go to the bathroom and it feels like I'm drowning. Like I literally cannot inhale enough air. So I'm talking to Sarah, and Sarah leaves work. And I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. I just feel really weird. So Sarah comes home. I'm running a fever, right? And you know, especially after the night before, it's like, yeah, I'm definitely sick. I feel cruddy. I feel icky. Oh, fuck me. I fell. Feeling cruddy. I'm trying to figure out oh yeah. So, my mother-in-law, Sarah's mom, is a retired RN, which is a registered nurse, right? She was like a battle axe nurse that had to deal with all the kinds of stuff. So when COVID happened, her mom got us a really nice pulse ox. So the pulse ox is the thing that they put on your finger, and it reads what percentage of your blood is oxygenated, right? And it gives you your heart rate. And so it's to the point where Sarah is Oh, we get the pulse ox, we put it on my finger. It gets to the point where Sarah is moving furniture out of the way because she's ready to call 911 again. And me, being the dumbass that I am, I agreed to go to urgent care. So going...
No, excuse you.
What?
You only agreed to go to urgent care.
I only agreed to go to urgent care.
Take you to the hospital and
That's right. I agreed to go to urgent care and I refused to go to the ER because I didn't want this to be another, oh, we're going to go to the ER. We're going to give you a shot of one thing and then you're going to go home. You know, you just have the flu, go home, dumbass, right? That kind of thing. So I go to urgent care and the trip from the parking lot to the waiting room, we literally parked in front of the building, but we might as well have parked in fucking France, dude. I was huffing and puffing and I had a mask on because I was just convinced that it was like the flu, but just really bad, right? Hold on with the pulse ox. We'll fucking get there. So we have to wait a good like half hour, 45 minutes. And now time frame here is really important. So I got the chills at around 1 a.m. Sarah comes home at 2 p.m. By 3 p.m., we're at urgent care. Okay. And you know, they're giving me a nebulizer full of albuterol. Albuterol is the steroid that is normally in inhalers. I have no albuterol inhaler. Very normal, right? Any kid that's got an inhaler, that's albuterol, and it's a steroid. So they give me a nebulizer with albuterol, which is just like a heavier dose. And man, she was so hardcore. This doctor walks in and she's got like spiked hair from the 90s. She's got 2 sleeves, like tattoo sleeves. And I don't know what kind of shoes she was wearing, but they were the kind of shoes that said, I can run faster than you and punch harder than you. She was like, I don't know what it was, but she was just like this badass. And she was like 4'1". She was tiny, but she just had that energy, you know? She had that like, don't fuck with me energy. And I was like, I'm really glad I have this person to take care of me, right? So she orders the x-ray, I go in and, you know, we get the x-ray. And again, this entire time I'm turning to Sarah, I'm like, it's just the flu. This is nothing. I am not going back to the ER so that this could just be nothing, right? So sitting down, nebulizing. I finish one nebulizer. They come in, they give me a second one, right? And then the doctor comes in. And first thing on the rush, she walks in, she's like, Yeah, they took an x-ray, right? No, that's important. Remember? Anyway, we'll get to that. So she walks in the door, she's like, you have to go to the hospital. You have double pneumonia. And I'm like, what? So, sidebar. I've never had pneumonia before. Sarah has had double pneumonia. And one of the reasons why I was convinced that this was the flu was because when Sarah said that when she had pneumonia, it felt like every time she breathed in, there was like glass piercing her chest, right? So yeah, double pneumonia means that you have pneumonia in both lungs, right? So both lungs are filled with fluid from some kind of like infection or something else. So also, just so you know, that's not good. And no, I did not aspirate chicken nuggets. Close, actually, but no. We're gonna get to that. So I have double pneumonia, and she puts me on a course of antibiotics, gives me the nebulizer, and we're talking, and I'm like, is there any way that I can go home? And she's like, you might get better. And we're talking, and she's like, listen, if your oxygen goes below 90, you have to go to the ER. You have to, right? And I'm like, okay, fine. So she hits me with steroids. I have a prescription for antibiotics. And you know, it's like, okay, ready to take this on head first. This is going to be great. We head home, and this is fucking hilarious because at home, you can see me, you can see a tweet that I wrote where I was like, hey guys, turns out I got double pneumonia. I feel fucking awesome because I'm hyped up on steroids. AMA, right? Like the dipshit I was. I didn't breathe in chicken nuggets, guys. And it was, there's no food in me. It's okay. It's just trust me. So I'm sitting down and I last about half an hour and I'm like, damn, I don't feel too great. Sarah takes my temperature. I'm at like 99, right? 99 Fahrenheit. 98.6 is the Osmosis Jones normal temperature, right?
You left the part where you got your O2 back up, so she let you go.
Oh yeah, no. I got my O2 back up in the urgent care, so she let me go home, and that's because I was on steroid. So I'm sitting there with a pulse ox on my finger at home, feel like shit, right? And I'm doing everything I can to take as deep a breath as possible. And I'm slowly watching this pulse. Oh, Sleepy Kitties, thank you for the prime. I'm slowly watching the oxygen number go down, and it's terrifying because I'm like, I'm okay. What's going on? And it's like 97. It's like, I don't know. This is fine. 95. That no, I'm good. I can breathe. I'm good. So it gets to the point as I'm literally breathing where, like, fully motionless on the couch, eyes closed, trying to like use the force to oxygenate my hemoglobin. I cannot break 90 on the pulse ox, right? Because this is the pulse ox that we have at home. And in my head, I'm like, okay, even if it is the flu, we can go to the ER because I was told by another doctor that if it goes below 90, I have to go to the ER. And so this isn't just, oh, Ethan feels bad, give him a shot, because I'm like, I was really embarrassed by the ER adventure where it's like, okay, we're gonna give you some Dilaudid, could you fuck off now? So I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out, breathing in, I'm breathing out. It's like 88. Like Google says, once your O2 hits 88, you need to be in the ER yesterday, right? So I get up, and for those of you who don't know, I have 3 vertebrae at the very base of my spine that are fusing together. This is something I inherited from my father, and I have like 2.5 herniated discs, completely herniated, to the point where they're like, you need to get these fused, so whenever you want to do that, go for it. So I have to walk with a cane, right? And getting around is not super easy for me. It's very painful, unless you're on Dilaudid. Anyway, so that was one of the good parts about Dilaudid. It's like, dude, I feel like I can like, was it Grandpa Joe in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? I could dance my way out of this ER, man. I feel awesome. Okay, so oh fuck, this is with a big ass, yeah. Oh my god, I'm definitely gonna die. This is gonna be hilarious. So, I am, so I'm walking down to the car. I'm dizzy. I'm starting to see Looney Tunes in the corner of my eyes. I'm like, starting to see stars. I sit down in the car. I look down at my finger because we brought the pulse ox with us. I look at the pulse ox. It says 82, and I'm like, oh no, that's very not good. So Sarah drives us to the ER. It is an emergency, so we go to the ER, and I sit down in front of like the check-in. And I'm like, hey, I'm having like some trouble breathing. I went to the urgent care. They said I had double pneumonia. And she's like, oh, okay. And like right there at the registration, they have like a little like, we'll get your blood pressure. We'll check your this, your that, So she puts the pulse ox on my finger, 72. So at this point, so she's like, okay, stop talking. And I was like, yeah, Sarah will handle everything, like the insurance and stuff. And so they put me in a wheelchair with an O2 canister, and I got a cannula. Cannula is the plastic thing that goes up your nose so that I can breathe. And I'm like, all right, luxury service. This is very good. Right? Yeah. O2 of 72. So they put me in the room, and immediately I am flanked by 2 giant fucking nurses. These are nurses that could hold you down and hit you with everything that they wanted. These were guys that could throw me over their shoulder and just like it was nothing. These were 2 of the like most jacked dudes I've ever seen. And they put a line in each of my arms, and they give me, I think they're banana bags, like the potassium bags to keep you hydrated, right? Later on, I would learn that this is the septic protocol. This is what they do for people who are going into sepsis. Is they have to hydrate you as quickly and as effectively as possible. And then they immediately start pumping me full of antibiotics, which is a little bit of a circus because I'm allergic to amoxicillin, but it's not too bad. So I have a line in each arm, and they immediately start pulling blood, and they're, because it's very much just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? We need to figure this out because you're gonna die. The kind of guys who would have to carry you into oh yeah. These were tough dudes, dude. Okay. So they pull blood, right, and they get a chest X-ray, and this part gets funny. This is where we start getting into the comedy of errors. So I know for a fact that I inhaled when the person taking my chest X-ray told me to hold my breath. I know for a fact that I was like, because, you know, oxygen, etc. So I'm like, that's not a good X-ray. That's it. I did just start the save. I started a new game for this. So yeah, so Sarah's trying not to pass out, which is a whole circus. And so like I know I took a bad X-ray, and I'm sitting there lying in the bed, just like, I never take good pictures. And I think they gave me a CT at this point, but the blood test was what was important.
They bring the X-ray to the room?
They brought the X-ray to the room. That's I remember that. Yeah. So, you know, right after the two nurses put lines in each of my arms and were turbo hydrating me, I met the head of the ER department. He had greased back hair, and you can tell that he thought and knew that he was important. And I'm like, I guess that's the kind of guy you want, you know. And he's like, so we're going to take care of you. We're going to this, we're going to this, we're going to that. And, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I lay down and I'm like, man, I hope that X-ray was good enough. And then I have these two bags in me, and I'm like, well, I'm glad I came to the ER because, you know, the one doctor said it was important. And I guess this is yeah, I think you meant portable
I
X-ray.
fixed it under.
Portable. We have a portable ER. We come to you. Sorry.
Not in America.
Sorry, I'm being an asshole.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So okay. So all of that. So now we're in like a waiting period, right? Where I'm sitting there and I'm like, they have me on oxygen, which is fucking awesome. Right. So like I'm finally able to breathe, and like I'm having a nice conversation with Sarah. We're having a good time. And unfortunately, the room that they gave me was right outside the nurse's station. So I could see everybody who just shot me, plus the doctor, and they're all talking. They're all talking and making phone calls, and I'm like, yeah, that's his normal nurse thing. And I see him look at me, and I look at him through like 2 layers of glass, right? Like the door and then the window in front of the nurse's station. And then he looks back down, and then he starts rubbing his neck, and I'm like, that's not a good sign. So he comes back, right? He comes back, and he's like, he folds his arms and he leans against the sink in the room, right? He's like, okay, listen, I have some good news and I have some bad news. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. You never want a doctor to say that, right? And he goes, okay, the good news is you don't have pneumonia. And I'm like, oh, sure, why not? That's a good sign. He goes, bad news is you're in heart failure. And I'm like, that's way worse. That's so much worse than everything that you said. Heart failure, that's a different game, right? And he's like, yeah, this is, and it's like, oh, you're in heart failure. This is extremely serious. It's not pneumonia. Your heart hasn't been properly pumping fluid around your body, so fluid's been building up in your body. Yeah. And so immediately, Sarah and I do the millennial thing, and we ask Dr. Google what he thinks. And if you Google heart failure, they're like, yeah, most people get to have a good 5 years. And we're like, that's not cool. Right? So I'm trying to make light of the situation. Yeah. So Sarah had to go home, right? But she left me like our tablet. We have a tablet that we have a Google Calendar on where it has all of our stuff together so that we all know like what we have planned and when and where and why, so we can keep track of each other's schedules. Highly recommended if you're married, by the way. So I keep bumping into my mouth. Sorry about that. So Sarah and I both spend the whole night crying and Googling medications and what happens, and like the only cure for heart failure is like a heart transplant. And so I'm like, well, this is so not Raven, right? Having a very, very bad day. And so what happens is when you're in heart failure, it's the exact opposite of sepsis protocol. They put you on diuretics because the idea is that you have to, it's not cash money. You are so right, dude. So they put you on diuretics and they have to get rid of all the fluid in your body, right? So if you've ever seen somebody who carries like a lot of fluid near like their ankles, right? Or, you know, if there's fluid building up in their lungs, this is all really, 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 really bad stuff. But that's the point of the diuretics. So they take out the 2 IVs, they keep pumping me full of antibiotics, and they're like, okay, this is gonna make you pee more than you've ever peed in your life. I'm like, that can't be true. And I ended up not peeing very much, but they give you these little plastic urinals, right? They call them urinals. It's like a half a milk carton that you're supposed to pee in. And dude, I don't know what it is, but I apparently am not good at wetting the bed, which I suppose is good news. But I've never been pee shy. Hope that's not TMI. But it turns out that when I'm in a bed in a hospital, worrying about my own mortality, I really struggle to urinate. Go figure. So yeah, so that's the thing, is like the sepsis protocol was actually the wrong call because they needed to dehydrate me. So they now had to undo everything that they had did. So that entire night, I'm not sleeping. I'm, every 45 minutes, I'm just in tears. I'm Googling over and over again. I'm terrified.
I had to go home because you were still in the ER.
Sarah had to go home because, the earth continues to spin, and so Sarah's got work, and there's,
I didn't go to work. I just had to go home because there was like a shitty chair in the cat.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah to feed the cats, and obviously, we have a zoo. I'm not mad at that. It's just, it's the way the world is, right? So this happens throughout the night, and so this is really fucking funny because they're like, okay, we're admitting you to the cardiology ward, but we don't have an open bed, so you're just gonna kind of have to stay here for now. And I'm like, thank you for letting me know, I suppose. And sorry, it's not funny, but it's so funny. And so like, what happens when you're in the hospital, right, is like when you spend like somebody's entire shift with them, you get a little bit of a rapport. And so there is this nurse, and don't let me be like sexist about this. I want to be, I mean this as politely as possible, but she was like 20 something, blonde, right? Looked like the nicest human being alive. And she's like, hey, here to take your vitals, here to give you this and that. And I was like, thank you. She's a wonderful person. At one point, I was attempting to answer Nature's call, and she opens the door and she starts the conversation like normal. And you have to understand, at this point, I've been awake for about 30 hours, haven't slept. I've been crying for the last 6 hours. And I have both hands under the blankets and under my gown trying to take a leak. So she looks at me, she goes, are you trying to go to the bathroom right now? And I was like, kinda. She's like, okay, I'll be right back. Like it was nothing. And I'm like, I just want to die. Just unmake me. Just fold me into the fabric of reality and leave me. I no longer long for this mortal coil. I was like, thank God my heart is exploding because I don't want to be here anymore. It was, oh my God, this is fucking awful. So, when you are going through heart failure, one of the things they are going to do is an ECG, an echocardiogram. Dude, the nurses are cool with everything. Here's the thing. I can't work retail because I worked at a desk once where you had to do customer service and I got fired. That's all I'm going to say there. Okay. That's a different story. Sarah's going to have to tell part of it, but you know, I can't do that. So it's like, oh, what is this? Just like a jar of your pee? Yeah, I could just pour this down the sink, no problem. You get a glove. Like this is not right. So I mean, dude, fucking absolute champion. So anyway, they do an echocardiogram, and so what an echocardiogram is they get the ultrasound, right? And it's this whole long procedure where they basically take images, right, of specific areas of your anatomy. So, you know, they'll take a picture of this chamber, of that chamber, of this blood vessel, of that blood vessel, right? It's a whole involved process. And it, you know, it's like anything else with radiology. The idea is that they are taking the pictures, but they can't tell you what they see. It's up to the radiologist and then ultimately the doctor to tell you, to interpret what's going on, right? And so like the ECG was supposed to tell us like everything. So understand, I'm breaking it, right? Full on shitting myself, because depending on what this ECG says, you know, it's going to tell us what level of heart failure we're looking at, like how bad this really is. So it's a big deal. It's just a big deal. There's no way around it. So, I forget. How do you get out of here? That ain't it. Fuck. Oh, ladder. This is not going to go well. Oh my God, I'm so rusty. So yeah, so the ECG really tells you everything. So before, like right after the ER doc told me that I had, I was going into heart failure, he grabbed like an ultrasound and just like really rough and ready took a look. Right? He didn't like take pictures or anything. It was just, he was literally just like looking. And I don't know what he was looking for. Maybe he was looking for a fucking hole or something. Yeah, like I'm not a doctor, you know. He was looking for my heart to be enlarged. He was just looking for something, right? And he didn't see anything, but he was literally just like, yeah, but I don't do this every day, so I don't see anything. But we're gonna get the actual ECG people to come in and do this. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Yeah, so like we're also looking for like a blockage, that kind of thing. So we get the ECG, and we get the ECG comes in as the room opens up and they're ready to swap me from one bed to the next. Remember, I'm on oxygen this entire time. So they do the ECG. I don't know what's going on. And I end up going up to the cardiology ward, and I am admitted. And while I'm there, the head of the cardiology ward, or the doctor in charge of the cardiology ward at that time, and the charge nurse at that time, both introduce themselves to me. They are sitting in the room, and Sarah's there too, right? And, you know, it's very much one of these like, hey man, you're going to be here for a while. Like, what's your name? How are you? What do you do? And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm like, they're like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, well, I'm a music theorist, right? And, you know, because sometimes depending on the situation, I'll be like, oh, like I'm a music theorist. I have a degree in music theory, or I'm a YouTuber if there are kids around. Or, you know, if there's any like ancient boomers, I'm just like, I'm a music teacher. I teach kids piano. I don't teach kids piano, but they don't have to know that, right? And immediately these two dudes are threatened, and they're like, you know, we're actually a part of the hospital band. And I'm like, hey, we could just unplug me from all these machines. We could just let me go gently into that night. This is totally fine. This is cool. I'm actually very happy with death now. You can just leave me behind. And so, yeah, they have a hospital band and they do covers of something, I don't know. And the cardiologist, in the middle of our conversation about me dying, is like, right, and so like if I wanted to play something in Mixolydian, what would that be? And I'm like, it's a major of the flat 7. So is the ECG back? So I was like, dude, not now, please. Like, no, they're like it's like a cover band. They do like rock songs. They do like they did like Grateful Dead type stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's very much just like my brother in Christ. Not now. Oh my God. You know, it was like, hey, can we like focus, please? You know, and then it was like, oh, so, you know, like the one question you get whenever you're like, yeah, I have a music degree, is like, oh, well, what instruments do you play? How long have you been playing them? You know, I played clarinet in my middle school band, and it's like, I took middle school biology, but I'm not going to interpret this ECG, am I, doctor? So it was like a whole thing. And yeah. So that whole conversation happened, and they're like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We have to run a stress test. Right. Well, first off, they got to like interpret this ECG. Then they're going to do a stress test. And because of my back and I can't move, they're going to chemically induce the stress test. Right. And they're going to get more x-rays. We're going to get another MRI. It's going to be a whole thing. Now, here is the fun part of the story. I am not slim. I'm not like, I'm just not slim. I don't want to do any of the body shaming or anything like this. I'm a wider set dude, right? But when you're in the cardiology ward, anything over 5% body fat, and it's an emergency. Like, emergency. So every doctor that I spoke to for the next week was like, you need to lose weight right now. You absolutely need to lose weight. I'm like, I am plugged into the wall right now, sir. And my back doesn't function. I can't actually, like, this was something that like happened that was really scary, is while I was lying in the bed for so long, I completely lost feeling in my right leg. And so I was like, okay, I'm going through heart failure. If my back actually fails me, how are we going to do this? Right. So like I was trying to get up and walk around, and you know, I was doing all my physio stretches and everything from physical therapy. I was keeping with that, you know. But dude, fuck, it was a lot. Anyway, so when you go to the cardiology ward, all of the food that you have cannot have any sodium in it whatsoever. So all the food that I had was saltless. The herniated discs, correct, and my vertebrae fusing. That's the loss of feeling there. It's never been quite that bad, but I've also never like since my back has gotten this bad, I haven't ever like laid down for 36 hours straight. So that's what that was, and I was like, okay, we got to do like some stretches. Let the nurse know, like try and do a few of these exercises and dead bugs and things like that. You know, and I was hooked up on oxygen, which is great. So like I wasn't out of breath. So the next day comes around, and we're doing my stress test, right? And I still don't know how the ECG looks from my time in the ER, and I'm like, this is starting to this is starting to really piss me off.
No, I feel like they said it was normal.
They did not, because I didn't know by the time I did the stress test, we had the ECG result and the stress test result at the same time.
You're right.
That's what happened. So the guy comes in to give me the stress test, and he's a totally nice dude, but this dude is extremely thin. Again, everybody's built with different equipment. I'm not here to shame anybody, but he walks in, and this poor dude is like, and he like stumbles toward the door. He's like, I'm like, are you okay? And he just turns to me and goes, can you fit in the MRI? I'm like, what the fuck? Yes, I can fit in the MRI. Like, I had just had like 2 MRIs in their MRI machine. I was like, yeah, somebody put in my chart like morbid obesity, which is not true, and that's where they were like, you know, this is the cause of this and this and this. We're gonna get to this. We're gonna get to this because these are all puzzle pieces. These are all puzzle pieces. Anyway, oh, I forgot. So back when I was in the ER, I was talking to the hospitalist, right? And she was like, "Oh, you know, you're so heavy. That's probably why you have sleep apnea, which is why you went into heart failure." And I'm like, "What is going on?" Like, I was like, "Sleep apnea? Like, what?" Like, I've had a sleep test and they were like, you snore a little, a CPAP might help, but this is not anything, right? And that's for another story. So yeah, no, it's like what? You know, I'm just confused, right? I'm just confused. And every single one of them is talking to me like, hey, you're gonna be able to live a long and happy life. And I'm like, it's not starting great. Ooh, this is not gonna happen. So go up to the cardiology ward. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna fit. It's gonna be fine. Puts me in the wheelchair, go down the cardiology ward to get the stress test done. And it's fucking awesome. So for the longest time, radiology was my favorite department in the hospital. No longer. Now, my favorite department is nuclear medicine. I had no idea that nuclear medicine was a thing. How fucking awesome is that? So nuclear medicine is one where they do like radiation treatment for cancer patients, but it's also where they do all this kind of like advanced imaging with radioactive tracers. Right? And I'm like, hold on. This is fucking cool, right? Hold on. So I'm like, oh man, this is fucking awesome. And so I'm talking to the guy who like wheeled me down, and I'm like, so what's the element? It's like, oh, it's technesium. I'm like, well, what's its half-life? Oh, it's this. And then I'm like, well, what does it like break down from? He's like, oh, molybdenum. And I'm like, this is so fucking cool. This is so fucking cool. Like, I get to learn about all this. This is great. So he shoots me. So the cool thing is the syringe with the tracer comes in this little like lead tube, and everybody in that department has to wear these sensors around their necks, right? Because if you because it's to detect in case there's some sort of like accident or emergency, so that they don't accidentally irradiate themselves, and they have to go in for monthly tests to I don't wanna you go in for monthly tests to check your radiation level, which is, I thought that was all fucking awesome. It's like we were talking, and it's like, oh, okay, so like by the end of the day, I will have already peed out all of the tracer in my system. He's like, yeah, and I'm like, and like I'm sitting there in the MRI, just like, dude, my dick's gonna be like a ray gun. This is awesome. So, like, you know, really stupid stuff, trying to have fun with it, right? Anyway, so the whole idea is that they have to have a baseline reading. So they have a baseline reading. Well, because your urine's irradiated, that's how your body gets rid of the technetium. Anyway, so after this, ray gun dick send tweet, yeah. So after this, they then have to stress me. So what they do is they give you something called a vasodilator. So a vasodilator dilates your blood vessels. The idea being that it's to simulate like exercise. Like one of the ways that you do this, or normally the way that you do this, is you like run on a treadmill for a little bit, but I have mobility issues, so can't do that, right? So they have to, anyway. So this person comes in, and she hooks me up to like the full 12 lead EKG. So I've got like sensors all over my chest. I've got sensors on the tops of my feet, right? This is, we're going all out, right? And then nothing happens, right? And so like she's on her phone, he's like leaning up against the wall, bouncing back and forth, and they're like, so did you get a hold of him? And she's like, I texted him, I let him know. And they're like, okay, yeah. I'm laying down like ass to sheet staring at the ceiling, just like, hey, I'm radioactive right now. Like, there's an MRI machine here. Collectively, we have about 30 years in college. What is going on? A good 15 minutes pass. And this angry bald man walks in, and he's short, and you can tell that it bothers him, right? I don't got a problem with bald people. I don't got a problem with short people. But when you get an angry, short, bald dude who's just pissed off all the time, it ruins your day. And then it's like, this dude's angry. Walks in, first thing he does, he goes, okay, listen, I'm busy and I need you to not text me, okay? Because when you text me, it distracts me and I'm already busy and I'm already working on stuff. So I need you to not do that. She's like, oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. And I'm like, oh, okay, so this is the dude that every therapist in the Denver metro area knows about. This guy sucks, right? So the idea is that this is the dude who administers the stress drug, whatever the drug is that stresses me out. He's the guy with the qualifications. We all have to wait for him, and he knows it. And this is the only power that he has in his life, so he has to like leverage it, you know. And I'm just like, you seem like such a dick. Yeah, way to make a good impression. Exactly, dude's just a nightmare. He is the stress drug. That's right. That's a great way to put it. So, so he's like that comes in, and they hit me with a drug, and it's fucking wild because like I can intellectualize. Okay, they're gonna give what?
Brooklyn was like, "Is this the complaint doctor?" And I'm
No,
like, "No."
this is not the complaint doctor. So this is so I can intellectualize. It's like, okay, I'm about to get a drug. It's going to stress me out. It's going to raise my heart rate. It's a vasodilator, so it should do this and that and the other. The drug goes into my system, and immediately I'm like sweating. I'm hot. I'm like, and my caveman monkey midbrain, right, the part right next to the keep the heart moving and the lungs going, right, it's just like fight, attack, kill, destroy. And I'm like, I'm basically having like a simulated panic attack on this table. I'm like, no, relax, it's okay, relax. And fucking Shorty McBaldass smacks me in the shoulder. You know, like how guys like knuckle each other in the shoulder. Fucking, you know, midbrain's a part of anatomy. But you know that like, I'm a bro, blah blah blah. He's like, you know, a lot of women going through menopause say this is what a hot flash is. So now you could say, you know what a hot flash is. Ha 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 ha. Right? Like tacitly misogynist, or just like just misogynist. It was really misogynistic. And I was like, damn, because this is where I was like, damn, I guess I'm gonna take that more seriously from now on when I hear it, because that sucks. Right? I'm just like this dude sucks. Buddy, could you just get out of the hole? All right. Yeah, we know. Oh. I had to... Dude, fucking get out of the hole. There we go. Fuck me. Yeah. So, do the stress test. And again, it's just like anything. Not allowed to know anything. Not allowed to do... Not allowed to tell me anything. It's all just like, do the imaging. Then the doctor has to interpret it. We have to get the radiologist. Yada, yada, yada. Fun times. So... So we go back up, and as soon as we hit the elevator, the guy who's pushing me back up is the same guy who pushed me down to the nuclear medicine department in the first place. And I was like, well, I didn't realize the whole hospital worked on that guy's schedule, you know. Dude's silent, and I'm like, seriously, that guy seems like such a dick. And he's like, so the other woman in there, that's her boss. I'm like, okay, so this is just like the culture of this hospital. Got it. Awesome. This place sucks. Right? I'm literally just like, okay, this is how we're treating people. Got it. Wonderful. So I go back up to the room, you know, I lay down, and I remember, so get this, I remember this was a Thursday, right? I vividly remember this was a Thursday because Sarah and I were watching The Pit. And so what happened was Sarah went home. Sorry, I was getting a swig of water. Sarah went home, and then Sarah went home because we were going to watch The Pit. So she went home to have dinner herself, and then also to feed the cats, check on the animals, right? Make sure everything's okay. And then she's going to come back in like an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours.
It was like 2 hours.
It was like 2 hours because Sarah slept. Sarah took a nap. That's right. Sarah leaves, and about 30 seconds later, a different angry guy comes in. And I'll never forget this. I was watching Burnt Peanut, right? Because that was very literally like the last 72 hours have been a fucking nightmare. I need to like, I need to giggle, point, and laugh at a fart joke right now. You know what I mean? I was like, let's like a Peanut say something stupid. I need it. So I'm watching Burnt Peanut on this little tablet. Guy walks in, and first thing I was like, shut that off. I'm like, what? He goes, you need to turn that off right now. And I'm like, oh, it's like it's a live stream. I can just like lock the screen. He goes, no. Put it away. This is important. I'm stunned, right? I'm stunned. I'm nervous. And this is the doctor. And he goes, sorry. I was just like going through this all again. It was like, dude, what the fuck is your problem? So it's him, and he has like a doctor, a student doctor training him, and this dude could not have been a day over 14. This is the youngest human being I've ever seen not be a patient in a hospital. He goes straight to the computer, doesn't say a word. Right, and this dude looks like the training doctor, the student doctor, looks like a fucking Ken doll, because of course he does, right? So the short dude comes in, he's like, "Oh, I'm the head of cardiology. I had a lot of stuff to do today, so now you're my last one." And I'm like, I feel healed just from your mannerisms. And he goes, "Yeah, so looked at your stress test. Stress test is totally normal. But you're fat." I'm like, okay. He's like, "Yeah, you need to lose weight. You need to lose all the weight. You need to go for jogs and stuff." And I'm like, "Well, my back's messed up." He's like, "Yeah, your back's messed up because you're fat." I'm like, "Oh, awesome. That's good to hear, because it's not what my spinal surgeon said, who's ready to fuse my back." And he's like, "Well, you need to do that." He's like, "I lost 54 pounds. I'm like, "That's great." He's like, "Yeah, I went on a GLP-1 inhibitor, you know, the Ozempic. You know how hard it is being a fat cardiologist?" I'm like, "Am I awake right now?" I was like, "What? Fucking what?" He goes, "Yeah, so you need to lose weight, you know, because your heart can't take it. It's really bad." So I'm like, "Oh." He goes, "Yeah, and I looked over your ECG, and your pipes are all clean, really clean. You actually, one chamber of your heart's actually really strong. You know, your heart looks really good. Your pipes are all squeaky clean. You're like good on cholesterol and everything. Really strong heart. Yeah, but you are fat." And then he left. And then he fucked off to whatever corner he came from.
Saw him again.
Never saw him again. Never, no idea what his name is. Could have been just a random dude. Just walked out. And I was like, what the fuck was that? And then like, I tell Sarah, right, on text, I'm like, "Hi, this happened." Now you gotta understand, right? I got a bachelor's degree in music composition. I have bachelor's degree in music composition, a master's degree in music theory. Okay, my master's thesis was analyzing the underscores to musical movies. With you know, I am not one of these super alpha hardcore dudes, right? That's like, yeah, just like brand me, I could take it. And I had just spent the last 3 days in the hospital convinced that I was going to die. So the combination of just, "Hey, lard ass, your heart's good. Fuck you, bye." I just broke down. I just started crying. And so I texted Sarah. I told her everything. And I was like, "I don't know why everybody's calling me fat, but I'm really glad I'm not going to die." So... No. It was so fucking good. Oh my god. So, it's sorry. So Sarah comes back and we watch The Pit.
Furious.
What?
I was
Sarah was furious, and I was just like, well, that's the thing. You're totally right. I can't. Who said it? No diagnosis. Hold on. Let me scroll up because you good catch because you're 1,000 right. Yeah, Octavian Soup. Diagnosis where right? He did not give me a diagnosis, no prognosis, nothing. He didn't tell. He called me fat with a good heart and specifically clean pipes. He was like, yeah, no, your pipes are actually really good, clean, and strong. What he means is like there's no cholesterol in them, there's no blockages, no clots, you know. It's like, so I don't have to take you to the cath lab, right? Because if there was a problem, I'd have to put you in the cath lab and I have to put a line in your vein and then put in a stent, and I can't do that because you're fat. I'm like, you got it, doc. So, I'm literally sitting there, like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I'm not quite freaking out, but I'm watching The Pit with Sarah, right? Which is, I'm gonna tell you this, right? It's nice when you have to spend a whole day in the hospital by yourself, and there's all kinds of scary stuff going on. Just having one person there is it's just nice. So we're watching The Pit, and then I end up going, then afterward, we like get to talking, and it's like, well, hold on, if my pipe, because we're trying to figure this out, like, if my pipes are clean and my heart is strong, then how does that relate to heart failure, right? Because we're like this is like we're like the thing is we don't want to be anti-vaxxers here, right? We don't want to sit here and be like, oh, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna correlate all this information and or correlate whatever. I'm not gonna put all this information together and like try to play doctor, right? That's how people die. Genuinely, that's how people die. And I'm kind like, if like a lemon, like a car that's a lemon where everything's broken. My body's kind of a lemon. I as much as all this is going on, I have a lot of other problems. And then, that in combination with allergies and things like that, it's like there are all kinds of drugs that can get mixed up. There's all kinds of interactions that can happen. Like there's one chronic fungal problem that I have. So whenever I get a steroid, it affects the fungal thing, and then all of that spirals. Anyway, so I'm sitting here just like we're literally Googling like strong heart in failure. Like, what does clean pipes mean cardiology, right? Like we're trying to like piece this together and figure out what's going on, and I'm like so the hard part here, right? Because this was where I really suffered. The hard part was the hope, because for the last 72 hours I've been coming to terms with the fact that it's like, hey man, you have a terminal prognosis, right? And it's like, oh fuck, I forgot the funniest fucking part. Oh my god, I forgot the best part. Holy shit. You don't know this.
You forgot to tell me something?
I didn't tell Sarah something.
How dare you?
Oh my god. Hold on. No, okay. Sarah, you don't know this. Okay, that first night in the ER, where they're like, hey, you have heart failure, and Sarah goes home, and I'm just like crying. When I'm not crying, I was sitting there freaking the fuck out. Hold on. I was freaking the fuck out because I was like, oh shit, I have to do a face reveal now. Okay, first off, you gotta understand, like, it was really stressful. I had a lot of drugs in my system. I was not, of sound mind at that point. But in my brain, I'm like, I have to do a face reveal, because if I die, people are going to find out, and then they're going to find out what I look like, and I am not going to have my fucking high school yearbook picture floating around the internet and have that be how people remember me. That greasy fuck is not getting affiliated with me. So I was like, shit, I'm going to have to do a face reveal. And then I was like, oh my god, I'm going to have to get a camera. shit, what does DSLR even mean? Like, I'm losing it. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, one problem I always have is like, I'm semi-colorblind. So whenever people are like, oh, the lighting shit, I'm like, I can't fucking tell. That's great to hear. Huh? Yeah, please. So, yes, please. No, so I'm, so yeah, so seriously, I'm gonna have to do a face reveal. I'm gonna have to tell people who I am. I'm gonna have to tell people like why I didn't do a face reveal for the longest time. Like, oh no. um, it's like a whole thing. It's a whole fucking thing. Yes, that's what I was freaking out about. And I bring that up, right? Because cut back to where we were in the story. Sarah and I watched The Pit. The angriest, meanest doctor alive tells me I'm fat but healthy, I guess. No. Then I just spend one more day. Please don't kill me. Oh, you guys suck. They kept me in because my O2 levels are still low. So could you fucking not, please? So the following, so they keep me in for another day. The following day, the cardiologist, a different cardiologist comes in. So this is the cardiologist who is like at that time currently in charge of the floor. He comes in, tells me I'm fat, I need to do exercise, and I tell him on my back, and he's like, yeah, because you're fat. I'm like, okay, so you guys all like, you get together and you talk about this kind of stuff, huh? No, this is the cardiologist, not the hospitalist. Was it?
No, it was the hospitalist.
You're right, this was the
Tried to be.
This was the hospitalist. This was the hospitalist. Anyway, so fuck. Yeah, Miss McGotten's killing me because I'm like no level 0. So what happened, and this is where we finally get the story. In your body, you have an enzyme called troponin. And what troponin does is it is the enzyme that becomes present in your body when your body is forced to work with troponin, yeah, it's forced to work to fix your heart. So like whenever your heart, because it's a muscle, needs to be fixed for whatever reason, just have like a single fiber strengthened or something like that, your body will be able to detect the troponin in your bloodstream. Troponin, like pwn.
I don't know. That's what somebody in chat said.
No, like getting pwned in a video game. Yeah.
Ah.
So troponin is one of the enzymes that they measure to see if you're in heart failure or having a heart attack. Right? So your baseline for troponin, any typical person, right, is going to be 0.1. I don't know what the units measured is, but it's just 0.1. 0.1 is considered normal. In speaking to them, they were like, your troponin was 0.2. 0.1 is normal, 0.2 is abnormal, 10 is a heart attack. And I'm speaking to this guy, he's like, yeah, we don't really get worried until we start seeing whole numbers. So your troponin being like mild, like as mildly elevated as possible, what does it mean? It could have been the start of heart failure or something like that. Micrograms per milliliter, I believe that's the units measured. That's a good, I'll keep it there. Could be wrong. We'll work with it. So, see, I was 0.2. He goes, yeah, the cardiologist said that your ECG came back, your lines were clean, like all of my blood vessels were clean, there were no blockages, no clots, no nothing. And the stress test came back completely normal. And he goes, yeah, so it looks like it was just pneumonia. And he's like, just pneumonia. I had double pneumonia, and they put me on septic protocol because I was going into sepsis. And the double pneumonia was so bad, I read this on the report later, that my lung had begun to collapse. And this infection was so aggressive and so bad that my heart had to start working harder. So like for the entire 20-hour ordeal from shivers at night to me in the ER, my heart had basically gone through like a marathon. Yeah, no troponin. That's how you found out. Yeah, exactly. Troponin's how they find out if it's a problem with your heart. So there's this whole saga, and it's like, yeah, it was double pneumonia. And so they're like, well, no, 20 hours from at home to the ER. I then spent 5 days in the cardio ward while they did all these tests, and I was still on oxygen and all this kind of stuff. So very, very exciting. Very, very, very fucking exciting. Right? So at this point, they sent me home, and they sent me home on everything. So I was on a diuretic. I was on a blood pressure medication. I was on a blood thinner, I think. They also had me on a steroid. They had me on like 3 different antibiotics for the pneumonia. Nanograms per milliliter. Okay, I believe you. I'm sorry. I can't give you more detail, and I'm not going to sign into my thing to see what my levels were. So they sent me home, and they're like, all right, you got to follow up with the cardiologist and follow up with your general practitioner. Now, I want to say, if any of you... Oh, God damn it. I died. If any of you need to pee, now's a good time, because we are officially halfway through this story. That was the first almost death. So if you need to take a break, if you need to stretch, that's not the exciting part of the story. This is the intermission. Yeah, this gets way fucking worse. So I'm not kidding. I'm going to give you guys like 5 minutes legitimately to just like chill out so that we don't have to worry about, oh my God, Ethan died. Yeah, that alone was a lot. Sidebar, and this is going to be relevant later on in the story. It's not funny, but it's cosmically kind of funny. You got to laugh at it or you're just going to go crazy. My parents are getting divorced, right? Which is really weird when you're an adult and your parents are like getting divorced. We are 100% on my father's side, right? And now something I want you to know is like Sarah works in the entire Denver metro area, like with all kinds of intense stuff, right? She has had people on the other side of her desk who have been convicted for murder and have like done their 20 years. And she has been able to like make them cry out of remorse, right? She like in the 1950s, Sarah's clients would be considered criminally insane. Now the conversation is a lot more sophisticated, but that's the short, but also not, like funding is always an issue. And so Sarah works throughout the whole Denver metro area. So Sarah has worked with some hardcore motherfuckers, right? And Sarah says that my mom upsets her. My mom infuriates her. That's the kind of issues that like my family's got, right? So my parents getting a divorce, it's unfortunately a really good thing for my dad especially, and so we're very much on team dad. But while all this is going on, right, we've been getting email updates from my dad about like what's going on and what's happening, and obviously it's sad, it's stressful, it's hard. So every night when I'm in the hospital, I'm like looking at Sarah, I was like, do we tell him I have double pneumonia and I'm in the cardiac ward with a failing heart? It's like, let's give it another day. Because it's like, can you imagine going through a divorce and it's like, yeah, your eldest might be dying. We can't quite figure it out. And then sure enough, when I got around to telling him, he was furious. He was like, what the fuck is this? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. It was like, I don't need to be protected. Tell me at time. And I was like, we're all going through a lot together. Okay. Let's just pump the brakes. Oh my God. So yeah, it's been a lot. Now, is everybody back from our intermission? Because I can get started with part 2. Oh, thank you, Gershok. I appreciate it. Send that to me on Twitter. I really appreciate that. Huh?
Or Blue Sky.
Or Blue Sky, yeah. Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube used to have like a DM system. My email is somewhere on the YouTube page, I think. Get it to me somehow. Yeah, get yourself some popcorn, some candy, a soda pop. Okay. Oh, I just spat on the screen. Ew. Whew. So, you might have remembered that I had a really weird chest pain. That happened a couple times. The first time was because of a chicken nugget, right? So, because of that one weird kid. Thank you so much. Everybody say hi to that one weird kid, my first ever sub. It's good to see you, man. So, you guys might have remembered that I had a bad, some bad chest pain, and that put me in the ER. It was an ambulance ride, right? Well, we had, doctor's appointments scheduled. And we had talked to my gastroenterologist, and we were going to have an ultrasound because my gastroenterologist thought that it could be gallstones, right? The pain was consistent, and gallstones are really difficult to diagnose apparently, right? Well, okay, fine.
That all got derailed.
Literally, because like I remember the pit was on Thursday. The Friday after that, we were scheduled to have a ultrasound. Didn't happen, right? Sorry, let me take care of this guy. He's being a dick. Oh. Hey. So, like, that Friday we were supposed to have an ultrasound. We didn't have an ultrasound. Because I was in the hospital. So we had to, like, reschedule it. Now, at around this time, I believe I released a video. I think this is when I released a video. But this is when, like, I stopped streaming. Because I was having these episodes, these really bad pains at the bottom of my chest, and it would ramp up over the course of a couple hours, and then it would go away. Except for the off chance that it didn't. Now, here's where the story is going to start getting interesting. Sarah, being the social worker that she is, knows all the hospitals in the Denver area. She has been to all the hospitals in the Denver metro area, and she has opinions on all the hospitals of the Denver metro area. Strong opinions, of the hospitals in the Denver metro area. And apparently, according to our resident social worker, the hospital that we went to both times by the ambulance and for the pneumonia thing is not her favorite. Apparently, it's the closest to where we live, so obviously, I don't want anybody harassing random Denver cardiologists, okay? But also, like, we live there, so it was the closest because it was an emergency, right? But it's not Sarah's favorite, and apparently they are known for turning away unhoused persons. That's the right word?
Yes.
Okay, unhoused persons, underprivileged, underserved people. Right, the people in need, people who desperately need to see a doctor, and they're dicks about it. So Sarah and I were talking about it, and we looked it up, and no, you can't do that. It's illegal, and that's why Sarah exists. Because Sarah looks at them in the face and says, "This is fucking illegal." Because Sarah knows the law, because she's a master's in social work, she's a licensed social worker, and she passed her test and got her hours, so she is a licensed clinical social worker. So Sarah's like a 9th degree black belt badass kind of social worker. She can put people on mental health holds, right? You can diagnose. And I found this out: Sarah can sign off on service animals.
No, I sign off on
Emotional support animals, excuse me. But how fucking cool is that, right? Anyway. So we got to thinking, and we were looking, right? We were, I know, right? Sarah's fucking awesome, dude. So I got to looking, and we were like, dude, did they see that I had government insurance through Sarah's job? And they're like, ooh, we can milk this for all we want. The double pneumonia is so bad that it's put his troponin at 0.1. We can admit him to the cardiology ward and keep him here and do all these tests. We do not have confirmation, yay or nay, okay, we don't know this for certain. It is speculation. But we were like, what if they were sitting there and being like, yeah, you're fat and sleep apnea and all these other things that are like difficult to quantify, I think, so that we can get him to stay here so we can do a couple tests so we can charge his insurance. That's what we got to thinking. Now, here is where that's important to the story. Yes. In that moment, during that ER trip, we met our out of pocket deductible in January, right? Yeah, so it's like, oh my God, I can't believe people in America with the American healthcare system were abusing the American healthcare system to try and make more money. God, would have never fucking believed that. Anyway, so that's that. Out of pocket maximum is how Americans make themselves feel better when we just flush money down the toilet by giving it to, yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Come here. Oh, fuck. You're about to get a professional on health insurance.
Okay, so in America, you have health insurance. Most people have it through their employers. I pay out of my paycheck every month, set amount to an insurance company for them to continue to, in theory, cover our expenses to a point.
And this is all through Denver.
Yes.
This is all through Denver.
So, your out-of-pocket max is, when you sign up for your insurance, it is the maximum amount of money you,
get closer.
employee, as the insured person, have to pay out of your own money. So, the insurance I signed up for, you have to spend this amount of money until you hit that point. And then once you hit that point, you no longer have to pay.
Yeah, so that's the idea. So we had our out of pocket fucking day one.
Which our out of pocket is not small.
And we have good insurance. So
I picked better insurance.
it was actually really funny because we switched insurances at the new year. So yeah, it's the limit of money the insurance won't pay. That's yeah. It's so and this was one of the reasons why I didn't want to go to the hospital, because it was like, I don't want to go to the hospital for a nothing burger, get one shot and have them be like, dude, you're a wimp, go home. Literally. That's literally what stopped me from wanting to go to the doctor. Right? Which sucks and is stupid. So, oh wait, do I have a weapon that can bleed? I do. Okay. So all of that garbage sucks. Double pneumonia, met our out of pocket, yay, but double pneumonia, almost died, went into sepsis, started to strain my heart. So we missed our ultrasound. I missed my ultrasound because I was in the hospital for that last day. So we called the gastro, schedule a new appointment for these weird chest pains. And you have to understand that at this point, I'm a different person, okay? Because in my mind, I'm so sorry. In my mind, I got sick. I just had the flu. I had the sniffles, right? And I ended up having to be in the hospital for 5 days. And in my world, it's like, what do you do if you're not insured? What do you do if you have no other options? You just die. Like, that's just it. And so, like, if I didn't have, and like, the thing is, like, I wasn't raised with a lot of money, and so going to the doctor was kind of a luxury, right? So like, I still have this in my head, right? I do not. So, if it, like, quite literally, guys, if it wasn't for Sarah, I would have died. Like, it's like, if Sarah was not here, I would have died, because I wouldn't have gone to the hospital, wouldn't have called 911, and I would have drowned in my own fluid. So, still getting these weird chest pains, and remember, they're at the bottom of my sternum, and they're in the center. So when I talk to people, they're like, oh yeah, it sounds like gallstones. This is my primary care and gastroenterologist. Like, yeah, it really sounds like gallstones, especially because of like where it hurts, the radiating pain, having trouble breathing even when it gets that bad. And and they need imaging to prove that, right? And I'm like, well, this is so weird. So one night we're hanging out, and at this point I'm trying to do everything I can to not aggravate whatever this is. It's got to be the chicken nuggets somehow. So I've been eating very bland food. The one thing they say when you're having gallbladder issues is nothing fatty, nothing spicy, because those two things strain your gallbladder, right? And can cause gallstones. Now, I talked to my gastro. You guys are cold. You're not warm on what's going on here, right? So I called my gastro. It's like, okay, when do I go to the ER, right? And she's like, if your oxygen drops below 90, right? If once your oxygen drops because you're in so much pain, you got to go in, right? Or if you have a fever, the fever is really bad. The other one is like if the pain has been going on for 4 hours, right? That was the one number I remember. Like I think it was 2 hours. Anyway, one night, that day I had eaten a sleeve of saltines and a bagel and water. I was eating like a European monk, right? It was half a loaf of bread and water, and that was my ration for the day. It was bad. So, it had been 4 hours. I was in a lot of pain, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to go to the ER. I don't want to see that same ER doctor. That's fucking awful, right? And Sarah goes, okay, we won't go to that hospital. We're going to go to the good hospital. So we drive like an extra 15 to 20 minutes, right? And we go to what Sarah considered... I was in pain, but it wasn't a nightmare. It was not like it wasn't like a 911 thing. And after everything I'd gone through, I wasn't going to let it be another emergency, right? Like, we're not doing that. So we go there and like, what are you in for? It's like, I have gallstones. It's really bad pain. It's been going on. Huh?
We think.
Hold on. I have gallstones. It's really bad pain. I'm scheduled for an ultrasound. We got to do this. We got to do that. The pain's too much. My oxygen's starting to drop. And so the nurse and the doctor who are there, fucking awesome human beings, they're like, actually, you're in luck. We have our ultrasound here in the ER floor because somebody else just needed to get an ultrasound. So they hit me with our good friend Dilaudid, right? I was fluent in every Eurasian language ever known to mankind, right? Every human who's ever lived, I could speak their language and understand them fluently. I was communicating with ancestors. I met Jesus. She's cool. It was, you're on Dilaudid. And they do an ultrasound and they take a bunch of pictures. And I'm like, okay, this is great. We can get the ultrasound done. Sort of two birds with one stone. Oh, a gallstone. Oh. So they do the ultrasound. Doctor comes back and she's like, well, it looks like the pain's gone. Your breathing's fine. You don't have gallstones. Go home. And I'm like, that's not, wait a minute. Hold on. There's a detail there that, no gallstones. You didn't see any. I don't know what they look like. You didn't see any. Sarah sat behind the ultrasound and she was very proud that she didn't see any either. So I was like, you didn't see any gallstones. Like, well, that's a conundrum.
That's really what we wanted to do.
Yeah, that's not really what I wanted to hear. Little nerve-wracking, if we're being honest, if we're being super cool. Don't like that at all. So schedule another appointment with my gastro. And again, I don't want to be like TMI, but I'm already very familiar with my gastro. She's genuinely really cool. And she was like, yeah, they did an ultrasound. They didn't find any gallstones. And so she's like, well, it could be, biliary dyskinesia. So, in our bodies, right, we have this system attached to the very beginning of our small intestine. So these three organs are the liver, the gallbladder, and the pancreas. So you have your mouth, your esophagus that goes to your stomach, and then your stomach goes to your small intestine. Right after your stomach becomes your small intestine, you have this thing called the universal duct. And that universal duct splits into three and connects to the gallbladder, the liver, and the pancreas. And these three work in concert to help you digest this food. Help you digest food in general. What the gallbladder does in particular is that the liver produces bile to help your body process fatty and spicy foods. But if your liver produces too much bile, or if you need bile and you don't have any bile in your liver, that's what your gallbladder is for. Your gallbladder is a storage system for bile to then use the bile whenever you need it, right? If you could think of it kind of like a reservoir, right? That's basically my understanding of it. So biliary dyskinesia is to do with the bile system, the biliary system with the bile and everything. Dyskinesia meaning that my gallbladder wouldn't be emptying properly. And so that could mean that it's filling up with bile, but then not emptying. And if it's not emptying, that could cause irritation, swelling, and it explains all of my symptoms. And she's like, and so the thing is for whatever reason with gallbladders is, they've tried injections, they've tried medications, they've tried this, they've tried that. If you have any problem with your gallbladder, it just has to come out, right? You don't really have a choice. And so typically it's gallstones, which is apparently very common. And then if it's not gallstones, then it's this biliary dyskinesia. And the way that they're going to test that is, one, they're going to do this test again, or I get irradiated, and they trace my biliary system, right? The other one is they're going to do an upper endoscopy, which is, they knock you out, they put a tube down your mouth, and they see how your digestive system is working from your mouth to your small intestine, basically, right? I already have one of those. So the whole point of the upper endoscopy is she's like, we're pretty sure we're going to have to do some kind of surgery. It was like, yeah, we're pretty sure we're going to have to do some kind of surgery. We're going to do the upper endoscopy just to make sure that we're not missing anything. Also, we met our out-of-pocket deductible, so it was like, run all the tests that you want to. Oh, that's right. Insurance was going to turn down like the gallbladder surgery and the scan potentially without doing the upper endoscopy first. So we did the upper endoscopy, right? And the guy comes back and he's like, you have really mild irritation in your esophagus. It looks like a little bit of acid reflux. If you just take this medication, it's called Pepcid. If you take this, go through the whole course, you'll be fine. But other than that, totally normal. Totally normal, and everything's fine, right? What happened next? Yeah. So then I go in for the scan, right? Because we call in the scan. So the way that it works is that you have to have something fatty or spicy, right? And then you fast for like 12 hours, right? And they basically inject you with again the technesium, but it's like a different concoction. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a pharmacist, I don't understand the pharmacology, right? I'm not going to pretend to understand the pharmacology. And so the way that it is they basically scan, they irradiate you, and then they can scan your gallbladder to see what it looks like, right? And then they give your body a medicine so that they can see how your body reacts to like your gallbladder emptying. So it's 2 scans, right? It's a baseline and then the second one. So, Upper endoscopy comes back pretty much normal. Little acid reflux, little irritation. It's a nothing burger. So I go in for the scan, and we're at the bad hospital because it's closer, but whatever. And and the GI is attached. They're attached, involved inside that hospital, however you want to put it, right? So we go back to the bad hospital, and lo and behold, it's the exact same tech who did my heart test. And we like remember each other. It's like, hey, how's it going? Like, you know, this and that. I wanted to be a dick and be like, guess what? I still fit in the MRI, you know, but I didn't. You know, it was a lot of fun. It was just like, hey, nuclear bro, let's do this. So I go in. Oh, wait. Yes, sorry. I'm making sure I get all this in order because there's a lot of things. So it's the same guy. It's the same guy, and I'm doing this test. And it's really cool, except for the parts that suck, which I feel like you could say about anything, but hey, I'm the one telling the story, sorry. So the way the test works is they basically irradiate you so that they can scan your gallbladder and get a 3D image of it from the MRI or from the scanner, right? And the way that they do that is you have to lie in the scanner perfectly still for 45 minutes. And then they give you something to stimulate your gallbladder, and then they scan you again, which takes 45 minutes. And they can measure the difference between those two scans, and that's basically how they tell how your gallbladder's working, right? They can trace it dumping, basically. It's incredibly boring. It's a 2-hour scan, and it's like, you comfortable? You wanna, you know, you're doing this, you're doing that. I'm just like, fucking, we gotta do it. I'm looking for the grace here, and I cannot find it, and I don't remember where it is. I'm like, yeah, you know, it is what it is. It sucks, but you know, but the cool part is this dude knew that I was a giant nerd, so he turned the screen towards me. He's like, here, look, you can see the scan happening, and sure enough, you could see the scan, and I was like, oh my god, this is so fucking cool. This is, you know. I could like, as the scan was happening, every time it would cycle, I could see a little bit more resolution from the scan. I'm like, oh, this is fucking dope. This is so cool. You know, well, again, this is related to like the face reveal and like who I am in my life and everything. But one of these days I'll be able to tell you why I can like raw dog 4 hours of just doing nothing. It's borderline a superpower. I hate it, but it's neither here nor there. So me sitting there, lying there for 2 hours is not a big deal. So I'm looking over at this 3D rendering of what is inside me, and I'm like, this is fucking awesome. I'm a Greek myth right now, you know? No. They do have headphones, but I didn't want it because, oh, okay. So that was the other scan, because you gotta understand, in the middle of all of this, I'm getting constant x-rays. I'm getting another like MRI or two. I went in for another ECG. No, not EKG, a CG, another echocardiogram. That's right? Because I was following up the cardiologist after this whole trip to the ER. So while this is going on, I'm still doing all this heart stuff, and every single heart thing is coming back totally normal, right? It's like, this is normal. Like, you had the test, you're good, go home. Anyway, so I'm lying there looking at it, and like, again, I don't like playing doctor. I'm not going to try and like lecture, you know, people about, because I don't want to sound like that dumbass who's talking about chemtrails, you know what I mean? I don't want to be the idiot that's just like wasting the doctor's time. So, so I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, where is the gallbladder? Where's the duct? You know, are we looking at like liver or pancreas? And like, I've been looking up a lot of pictures of this, you know, all those Wikipedia links are purple. You know, I'm like, what's this? What's that? And I'm like, I can't, it's all just like, it all looks like, you know, a toddler got a hold of some silly putty. I can't quite make out what the imaging is. So 45 minutes pass. The dude comes back in. I almost said his name. I don't want to dox him. And he goes, huh. I'm like, I don't like it when you fuckers make that sound, you know? He's like, we can't, there's no gallbladder. I'm like, that's not, don't say that there is a gallbladder and it's the sexiest gallbladder you've ever seen, dude. I don't want to do this again. It's like, huh. okay, we're gonna give it another 10 minutes. And so he goes into the other room, and I'm sitting there just staring at this scanner, and we're not seeing any more shapes, any more anything show up. It's the exact same thing it's been this entire time. And I'm just like, fucking, I swear to fucking Christ, if this is a fucking, I'm gonna fucking lose my, you gotta be, oh my god, I'm dead. He's like, what do you mean there's no gallbladder? What do you mean there's no gallbladder? Like, give me another 10 minutes. Right? Gives another 10 minutes, comes back, it's like, okay, we're gonna call somebody in. I'm like, don't call somebody in. No, I don't want, no. You know, maybe he's just tired. Maybe he slept through his alarm. Don't do this to me, you know? So this other dude comes in and he's like, all right, we're going to give you some morphine. I'm like, okay. I've been on morphine before. I've been on morphine a lot because of my ears, especially when I was a kid. You know, all of you lore masters about me know that I have like chronic ear problems. So, yeah, so morphine is no problem. Oh fuck, I forgot. Dude, when I got my upper endoscopy, the anesthesiologist was such a dick. You know, he was like, oh, you ever done this before? And like, yeah, I had. And he was like, and did they use propofol? And I'm like, I don't know, but it knocked me out. And he's like, well, you might have just not remembered it. How do you react to propofol? And I'm like, I'm sorry, doctor. I didn't take notes last time. Maybe you can tell me. Anyway, turns out I'm fine under propofol. Go figure. So, so yeah, it was like, all right, morphine. We're going to hit you with morphine. And so they hit me with morphine. I get another hot flash. Just like, when I was on the stress test. And so I turned to the guy and I'm like, is morphine a vasodilator? And he's like, yeah. How the hell do you know that? I'm like, I'm cool now. So I was like, oh, cool. I got like street cred. So the whole point is it's a vasodilator, dilates your veins and all of your blood vessels. In dilating your blood vessels, everything can move the way that it needs to move because something is restricting something in my system, and the imaging is the imaging contrast is not getting to where it needs to be. I swear to God, they moved all the graces. I don't know where any of them are now. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I had read that this was something that can happen, and it's not too abnormal. It's obviously not standard, but it's not too abnormal. So they hit me with the morphine. They're like, all right, we're going to give you another 15 minutes in the machine. And I wish he did not turn that screen at me, because I'm looking at the screen and the image is now becoming clearer and clearer and clearer, but it is just that part. And he's like, because the last time he looked at it, he's like, that's just bowel. And I'm like, small intestine? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what about the universal duct? At this point, they're getting upset with me because like, why do you know that? I'm like, do you see the universal duct? And he's like, no, it's just small intestine. So after they hit me with morphine, looking at the scanner comes back with nothing. This is fucking hilarious. He comes out and he immediately becomes a doctor again. He gives me the whole spiel. I was like, okay, well, we'll send this off to the doctor and you should get your results in about 3 to 5 business days. Thanks for coming in. How you doing? Are you gonna be able to walk out? I'm like, why are you? No, we just spent the last hour and a half talking about how a body part is missing. What's going on? So, so like I walk out, I'm like, I talked to Sarah, and so the whole thing was that it was like, it's supposed to be a 2-hour scan, right? Like 2 45 minutes plus the interim to actually administer the drugs and perform the test. I was out in like an hour because they couldn't see it. So Sarah picks me up and I'm like, dude, they didn't see a gallbladder. It's like, oh, what, you didn't have problems? Like, no, like gallbladder, no there. They, you know, roll call, gallbladder absent. Like, what do we do? And so it's like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what, like, again, questions. So we call up the gastroenterologist again. And I think at this point we sent her like a message and we sent her the results of this test. And basically what it is she's like, okay, we're going to have to perform surgery relatively quickly. This is not an emergency, but it is pretty urgent. What could be happening is that you have a gallstone lodged in your universal duct. And in having a gallstone lodged in your universal duct, you you it's blocking your entire biliary system, and it's causing all of those symptoms. All of those symptoms can be life-threatening. And I'm like, I am not doing this song and dance again. You've got to be fucking kidding me. So after this happens, I go to the hospital again. No. The last time I went to the ER, that was before I had this conversation with the GI, with the gastro. The idea being that like I had been there and it's like, it's not gallstones, it's just pain. We don't know what it is. And he's like, what did you eat? I'm like, I had some bread. And he's like, well, it doesn't get much more bland than that. And I'm like, yeah, I fucking know. Oh my God. Yeah. So we get the scan and she's like, yeah, we're going to have to consult with the surgeon. So Monday rolls around, vividly remember that this is a Monday, and that's not a good sign. Huh?
Yes, I went to work.
No, you took all of Monday off because
I took half day. I went to work in the morning.
That's right. Yeah, because we had errands. Anyway, so I go in, I see this surgeon, right? Nice dude, no complaints. Everybody online says he's great. Everybody in the office is like, oh, he's wonderful. You're going to be fine. And I'm like, thank fucking God. So he comes in and he's like, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a music theorist. And he goes, I don't know what that is. I'm like, I'm going to fucking kill myself. So I'm like, yeah, it just, you study music. What? You got to get close.
Okay, I have to tell you all this man was impeccably dressed.
He was very well dressed.
He was so coordinated. He was wearing like a maroon red argyle sweater, but then his pants matched the red and his socks also matched the red perfectly. They weren't slightly different shades, perfectly matched.
Sarah was disturbed by how well dressed this man was. Anyway, oh no, he's hot. No,
He was not hot. He was just well dressed.
Also, his clothes were tailored. I literally come from a family of tailors. I could tell you his clothes were tailored. Anyway, well, I guess not a family of tailors. My grandpa was a tailor, and he did everything by hand. Anyway, sorry, distracted. So I tell him all the symptoms. I show him all of the tests. Obviously, there's a lot. He's concerned about all the heart stuff, and I'm like, everything's been coming back totally fine. We think it was just related to the double pneumonia. We're good. It's fine. We're clean. Nothing to worry about. And he goes, oh, okay. And so he lays me down and he does a really brief physical examination. He's like, is this tender? Like, no. Is this tender? No. Is this, oh, yeah, right there. It hurts. Yeah. He goes, yeah. Okay. I see. Yep. Well, let's schedule the surgery and, this and that. It can happen in another week or two. We'll have our office call you. But yeah, we're gonna get the gallbladder out. It's gonna solve all your problems. Everything's gonna be okay. And I'm like, thank fucking Christ! Finally, something that's gonna be straightforward. Kill me. So I go home, and I don't feel right. So during the exam, he pushed on my stomach, trying to get a feel of where things were and what was going on, right? And he touched on the part of my body that had been hurting this entire time. And it just hurt. And I was like, oh fuck, did he start another episode? Right? Like shit, I think he started another episode, like whatever he did, like triggered it. So I come home and like I'm in pain and I'm like, nah, it's okay. It's nothing. And so like all day I'm just like, it hurts. After a couple hours go by, it's the worst it's ever been. It has not been worse than this. It's bad. Very bad. And it's very rapidly getting worse. So I go in, we end up going to the good ER, and it's rapidly getting worse. It could not be getting more worser, right? I'm struggling to breathe. I'm in a wheelchair in the ER. The security's coming out and they're like, sir, has somebody seen you? And I'm like, yeah, like I'm in a lot of pain. And so something I've had to deal with my entire life is they show you that stupid fucking pain chart with the faces. And they're like, what number? And I'm like, do you want me to give you a decimal point? I'm in pain. Fucking, come on. Anyway. so the most pain I've ever been in my life, right, was a horrible situation that I don't really want to talk about just because it's like really traumatic and I don't want to like upset anybody. But just understand, I've been in pain before. I'm not trying to jerk myself off. Okay, I'm really not trying to jerk myself off. I'm not trying to make myself sound tougher than I am. It's just it's one of the things that I've done with my life. It's like I've been in a lot of pain. I've been in a lot of hospital ERs asking for morphine. Most of it was because of my ears. Yeah. This was not that painful. It was not as painful as that. It was still extremely painful. It was to the point where I wasn't even laying down on the gurney. I was like sitting with my leg off. And, you know, I'm talking to the nurse. I've seen this nurse before. She's seen me and I can't breathe. I've almost stopped breathing. And there's this other nurse who's there and they're like talking and he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm about to head out. We literally got them at shift change. Right. And I'm just like, I'm holding on by a fucking thread. And then I start crying. And it's the kind of crying where you don't realize you're crying. Your chin's just wet. You know what I mean? Because I'm sitting here and I'm flexing every muscle in my body, just trying to like get a short breath. And I'm like, I'm in a lot of pain. And these fucking divine creatures that are healthcare workers, dude, they're just like, don't worry, we've got the Laudit on the way, we've got this coming, it's gonna be okay, you're gonna be okay. And I'm like, and the entire time I'm like, thank you, you're doing great, I really appreciate it. And then at one point I stopped crying. Now, something else I need you to know about me, just about my weird body, is Sarah and I have known each other for 16 years. We have been dating for 15 and a half of them. We've known each other for a very long time. Sarah has seen me vomit once. Right? The other thing is that I don't drink. Right? In my life, I've had drinks maybe like 4 or 5 times. One of those was when I hit a sub goal and I thought it'd be funny. We could do like a My Drunk Kitchen thing. Right? But I don't drink. I don't vomit. It's like the one cool thing my body does, right? Which is nice. It's like the one thing I have. So I'm in pain. The crying stops and my body freezes, right? And I go, I literally whispers like, I think I feel nauseous.
No, you said I'm nauseous.
Yeah, I'm nauseous. And then my cheeks filled with vomit. He whipped around.
Nowhere and just shoved it into your
Whipped
hand.
around, grabbed the barf bag. My cheeks filled with vomit. I then emptied them into the barf bag. I then puked about 8 or 9 times. Those barf bags are not small, and I filled 2 of them up. I completely emptied all of my stomach contents and then was dry heaving. So I remember sitting there having vomited everything in my body. I had needles and lines in both arms. I was sitting on the table with like one leg was on the table. I still had one foot on the floor, right? I am in misery. The Dilaudid is finally on board and it's not over, but like it's definitely through the worst part. And I look up to Sarah. Do you remember what I said? Okay, I look up at.
You're gonna tell me and I'm gonna remember.
Yeah, I looked up at Sarah and I just go, Mondays.
That's right.
Look at her, it's like, Mondays, right?
Can I tell them what you said when you left the hospital the first time?
Oh my god. Okay, we have to get close to the mic.
Okay. Sorry, we're
This is a good story, but was this the ER the first time, the ambulance ride?
No, this is when you went home from the hospital after.
This is when I went home from the hospital with the pneumonia and the cardio ward and all that.
So they discharge him, and the nurse comes in and they're like, "Yep, you're gonna go home. We're gonna get you discharged. I'm like gonna go do your paperwork, so on and so forth. Thanks." And like the very nice nurse leaves, and now like Ethan's feeling better, doing better, but hasn't slept a whole ton. This man turns to me, looks me in the face, and goes, "Misa, going home."
I said, Risa going home, because that's the direct quote. Thank you.
And I still took him home.
And she still took me home. See, understand, I was very inebriated, okay? And there's something about a hospital that just makes you fucked. Anyway. Fucking so I've gone through hell. She's the same for going through my BS, absolutely. So I've gone through hell, and I'm like lying down on the bed, right? And I'm still in pain. Like it's only like a 3 or a 4, right? It's not world shattering, but I can't take like a super deep breath. And so one of the things that happens when you have double pneumonia is they're like, you know, there's basically crud in your lungs. You need to force yourself to have deep breaths, because just the act of opening up your lungs like that will break apart all the crap that's in there, and it helps you get through it. So, you know, they have a little device that helps you like practice your inhales. The other thing is like your body just kind of conditions yourself to take shallow breaths, because taking a deep breath fucking hurts, right? So you're like, you just instinctively don't take deep breaths. It's just something that happens. Crunchy lung. That's a disgusting and accurate way to put it. So, you know, so all of this is very emblematic of emblematic of like my experience of double pneumonia, not being able to breathe, trying to take a deep breath, can't take a deep breath, something trauma. I am not having a good time. I do not feel bonita. Okay. So I'm just sitting there and I'm trying to breathe, and I'm like, man, I do not feel good. And so the nurse comes in and they're like, yeah, all right, so we're ready to move you up. And I'm like, I go, oh, you're going to admit me? And she goes, yeah, we're going to admit you after what we just saw.
No, you're leaving some parts out.
Oh, hold on. So this part, I'm fucked up. So if I miss something, I miss something.
Okay. So I can feel it. You missed a couple things.
What?
Okay.
No, just tell me.
You missed her coming in thinking it wasn't your gallbladder, and you missed that she said the liver enzyme.
Oh. Well, that's a different part of the story. We're gonna save that part.
The ER doctor.
I know, but we're gonna come back to that because that's the fun part. That's where things get real spicy. Okay. So it's when was this? Beginning of February.
Oh, mid-April.
Mid-April. Because at this point, I'd already been to a bunch of doctors and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so I'm not feeling good. And this was one of the reasons why I wasn't streaming, because I was like, dude, if I like stream and this causes like another episode and my chest starts to hurt, like this could be bad. Like this could be really, really bad. The first first hospital stay, admitted into the hospital. But in the interim, I've been to the ER like in total I've been to the ER about 6 times because of this pain, right? 4 times because of the pain, and then twice because I was admitted. This is the second time I was admitted. So they admit me, right? And they do blood work, right? This is the part Sarah wanted me to tell you. They do blood work, and they're like, your levels are all over the place, right? Like we can't figure out what's going on. Like this is really, really weird. So they admit me. I go upstairs, and thus begins hell. So whatever happened, right? My entire body is in pain. Every muscle hurts. I can't turn my head. I can't lift my arms without almost screaming. It is incredible. It's not just pain, but it's like a weakness as well. So it's not just, oh, it hurts to move. It hurts to move, and sometimes I'm not strong enough to move the parts of my body that I need to. Oh yeah, everything else before this was the walk in the park, because this part sucked. So I go up, I'm admitted, I get introduced to the nurses, the charge nurse, the hospitalist.
It was like 1 a.m. I went home.
Yeah, it was like 1 a.m. Sarah goes home because, you know, it's the humane thing to do. I'm in there, I get introduced to everybody, I lay down, and then the next day I meet the surgeon, and he's like, we're cutting out your gallbladder. I don't know when it's going to happen. We have to schedule it sometime in the next day or two. We're going to keep you monitored. We're going to run all this stuff, you know, and you're going to be on Dilaudid, right? But here's the thing. When they cut out your gallbladder, they do it laparoscopically. So that means that they don't open you up. They don't put a big samurai sword cut through your body. It's 3 little incisions, and it's all like robot arms and stuff like that. But one of the ways that they do that is they pull the gallbladder. When they actually remove it, they pull the gallbladder out through your belly button. And one of the issues with that is that your bladder can get in the way if it's full. The other thing is that your gallbladder needs to be as empty as possible. And for it to be as empty as possible, you can't have any food. So for 3 days, for 72 consecutive hours, I could not eat or drink, and I was in too much pain to sleep. And they had me on a cycle of Dilaudid, but it wasn't scheduled. So I had to ask for it, and they had to write down when I needed it. But the issue was some nights it would take me an hour just to be able to get to the call button. And when it happened, the nurse would come like running in. Oh my God, are you okay? I'm so sorry. Is this, that, and the other. And so like I would sleep for about a half hour at a time. But it was a fucking miserable experience. Here's where it gets funny. So you can't eat, you can't drink, you can't do anything, but they're giving me meds. And so they're like, okay, listen, when you take this pill, drink as little water as possible. And I'm like, fuck you, this has ice in it. So I take a little pill and I'm like chugging, and they're like, okay, stop. I'm like, fuck you. Every time I get up to like pee or something, I take a huge sip of water just as like a giant fuck you. Right? Because I'm like, everything else sucks. I hate this. Right? But what would happen is like every day I'd be like, hey, am I scheduled for surgery so that this can be over? And they'd be like, we don't know. You know, he's really busy. We're keeping you monitored. I promise we're keeping you hydrated through these bags. And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking die. So they're like, well, we have alternatives if you have a dry mouth. And I'm like, give it to me. I'll take anything. So they give me this little spray. If they ever offer you the spray, don't take it. It's a lie. So it's this little spray. You know those little like mint spray bottles that people will use to like freshen their breath? It looks like one of those. It is not one of those. It shoots it straight out. Like, I don't know what it's called. It's literally sitting in my bathroom. But it shoots out in a straight line like a fucking super soaker. Got myself right in the face. I gave myself a fucking money shot with whatever this mint bullshit is. And it's like, oh, it's to keep your mouth hydrated. I'm like, fuck you. It just tastes like mouthwash and I'm angry now. Oh my God. It was fun. And so like, it's like, oh, you have a dry mouth. You have a dry mouth. This is going to make you feel better. I'm like, I'm thirsty. It got to the point where I just started drinking it. Right? So it's just like, this is awful. Oh, anyway, so that, right? And like by day 2, I'm like, hey, so listen, a cardiologist diagnosed me as fat, so I'm hungry. Can I eat something? And they're like, we can't do you this. Yeah, Sarah just spoiled it. So it was like, we can give you some lemon swabs to help. And what they are these giant cotton swabs. They come in this bag that you got to rip open. And if you close your eyes and the wind is blowing in the right direction, you can tell that somebody in the factory that put this together once had lemonade. It barely at all, if even, tastes like lemon. But let me tell you this, dude. On day 3, those were the most delicious fucking things I had ever had in my life. I was like, these are stupid. Like on day 2, day 3, first thing in the morning, I was like, oh my God, ambrosia of the gods. This is delicious. They should sell this at 7-Eleven. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. Oh my God. It was like, this has got to be good. Oh my God, this is so good. Such subtle flavors. Oh my God. It was like, yeah, that's not a good sign. Exactly. All in good faith. That is not a good sign. So day 3, right? They're like, all right, we're going to go in for surgery. And like, how do you feel? And I'm like, miserable. And I'm really nervous. And for whatever reason, right? the powers that be, divine or otherwise, decided to just give me like a rock star surgeon.
Wait, you didn't tell him what you like the whole movie was.
Hold on, we're gonna get there. Damn, dude. I'm trying to tell a story here. I'm building plot and tension. Shit. So I meet the surgeon. I'm like, I'm nervous, and he's like, don't worry, I'm not. And that was the end of the conversation. And it was just like, what? Like, oh, okay, like you're not nervous, so that's cool. But it was very much one of those. And so like I go downstairs, and they got me. Oh fuck, I'm dead again. Goddamn night rain throwing me off. So I go downstairs into like the OR prep room, and they have to shave my belly. I'm just pissed. And I'm vibrating, dude. I'm so fucking scared. It's just like, this, that. And they're like, would you like something to calm down? I was like, absolutely. And like in the back of my head is like, all right, do you have my best friend Dilaudid in there? And so they give me something that was supposed to calm me down. Didn't do shit, because it never does. And they shaved my belly, and they put me in a stupid hairnet. And then Sarah went upstairs. And they wheeled me into a room that looks nothing like the pit. Somebody needs to tell them that's clearly not what an OR looks like. There's all these machines everywhere, and I'm trying to like be cool about it, but obviously in the last 4 months I've been through a lot. And someone slaps a little mask on my face, and they're like, take some deep breaths. And I'm like, that will definitely, right? It was like, that'll, like my thought is, that will relax me. What is up my nose right now? So whatever they gave me the great stuff. That or propofol affects me very differently now for whatever reason. So they put the mask over my face. It's not a clean seal because of course it's not. I take a couple of deep breaths in. I wake up in the Matrix area. You know, like when Neo first wakes up and there's all the robots and the pods. I woke up there and I was like, oh dude, sick. I wonder if we can like upload the ability to play piano better. And then like I blinked a couple times. I was like, oh fuck, this is the recovery room. And then I heard this dude go, don't rub your eyes. And I was like, you know, I saw a TikTok about that. And then I woke up again, and there's this thing up my nose, and I get like nosebleeds, right? And there's like I swear to God, somebody put like a heavy flow tampon up my nose. And I was like, what's up my nose? And they're like, we had to put a nose horn in your nose to help you get oxygen. And I'm like, oh, I don't like that. Then I had a dream that my dad showed up, and he gave me a Model X or a Model TIE Fighter, and a TIE Advance, right? And then I woke up in my room, right? And Sarah was there, and the surgery.
Remember the recovery room?
That's all I remember. That's all I remember.
Want me to tell you about it?
No, I do not.
Okay.
That's all I remember, right? Later on, Sarah can tell you some of the other stupid things that I said. But that's all I remember, that specific series of events. So gallbladder comes out, right? And I'm laying there, and they do blood work, and I'm sore, I'm in pain, I'm tired, but I get to have food, and that food was delicious, and that water was hydrating. It was marvelous. Could not, you know, just, yeah. It was great. It was like, oh my God, wonderful. And in my mind, I'm like, cool, this saga is over. And that night, I'm in pain. The exact same pain. I'm still in pain. I'm still uncomfortable. I'm not happy. Right? I'm like, hey, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I don't have a nicer way to put this. Shit is still fucked. Right? The next day, right? Because so this is a big deal. The next day after the first ER trip, like the first time I was admitted to the hospital, the cardio and all that bullshit, the reason they kept me was because my O2 levels still weren't high enough, and that was because of the double pneumonia. Now, in Colorado, you are at altitude. When you're at altitude, you don't get as much oxygen. This is a problem for people coming out of surgery like I was. I didn't know that, right? So it's not uncommon. Sarah's mom, after getting her knee replacement, came home on oxygen, but Sarah's mom's also a little bit older, right? So, and Sarah's mom's also got asthma. So it was like, maybe there's something there. I didn't realize that this was just very common. So the following day after I had my surgery, they sent me home. I was like, hey, I'm still in pain and I'm still uncomfortable. And they're like, you're doing great. Your blood levels are doing great. You're doing wonderful. This is all fine. We're going to send you home on oxygen. Right. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm still in a lot of pain and I'm on oxygen. Like, I don't know. Right. Cause I literally just been in the hospital and stayed for like an extra 2 days because I felt exactly like I felt right then. So they're like, no, we're going to send you home. We're going to send you home on oxygen. I'm like, all right, fine. So I go home and whoever runs these, so yeah, like I got my gallbladder out the next day. I go home. I don't know who, oh god damn it. I don't know who runs these oxygen companies, but they are fucking champions. Dude, like 45 minutes after I came home, there were dudes knocking on our door. Like, and I had an at-home machine that just like concentrates oxygen. And then they gave me 3 oxygen canisters in case I needed to go out, as well as like a small army of cannulas. A huge collection of cannulas, just different sizes, lengths, and all that kind of stuff. So like it was really, really kick-ass. But this is when it got like really scary, because again, I was still in pain. We're rotating pain medications. We're trying to not have them interact with the pain medications I'm already taking for my back, right? Because I'm on like NSAIDs and anti-inflammatories and stuff like that. And so like at one point, I had to like call for Sarah, because it was like, hey, I'm laying down at a weird angle and I can't get the cannula up my nose, but I'm also not strong enough to lift my neck and I'm suffocating. And so Sarah had like literally grab my head and lift it up. It was really scary because I still had like a weird like lump in my throat. Or I think that was actually from the upper endoscopy. I can't remember. So that happened. They don't even give you sutures nowadays. Like I have a scar on my appendix where they gave me 1 suture because I had it out when I was like 4, you know. Anyway, they just glue it, and so like I still have a little bit of glue on my tummy, but it's been slowly coming off. And so the epilogue to this is I end up going to my primary care and my gastroenterologist again to follow up, and my cardiologist, all 3 of them in the last 2 weeks. And, you know, my cardiologist is, I literally just spoke to my cardiologist and they were like, this was Thursday. They're like, you look fine. It looks like it was just double pneumonia. We're going to see you in another 6 months. And it's literally going to be like, hey, how you doing? All of your tests are clean. Everything comes back totally normal. You're good to go. Talk to my gastro, talk to my primary care. And they're like, so one of the ways that we detect liver function is by analyzing a certain enzyme called lipase. I don't know if it's a collection of enzymes or just a regular enzyme, right? But lipase is the way that they detect it. The normal amount of lipase, or the normal range, and you could see this in the tests on like the patient portal, the normal range is 30 to 100, right? So the normal range is 30 to 100. Your lipase was at 6,300. It was at 6,300 units when 100 is supposed to be the upper boundary of what's normal. It was literally 63 times the upper boundary of what was healthy. And so it got to the point where both of my doctors were like, I have never seen or heard of somebody with a lipase reading that high. So, like, the idea was that my entire biliary system had completely shut down. I was like, and so fuck. So this is the other part that's really funny, right? So one of the things that happens when you have your gallbladder out, and this is something that happens commonly, right? When you're recovering from having your gallbladder out, you end up having a lot of bathroom problems. That's the most common complaint. And it lasts for about 6 months. And what that is, you know, your gallbladder regulates all of it. So your body doesn't have that regulation anymore. So now it needs to work out how much bile do we need? How are we going to work out when and where and how much to produce that much bile? And so when you have something fatty, it throws your body out of regulation and you have bathroom problems. So after surgery, I'm kind of on eggshells where it's like, I'm going to have pudding and I'm going to have applesauce, and everything was fine. So then I kept having crack. Well, that was the thing about the ER doctor. This is what Sarah wanted me to tell you. Is the doctor comes in and she's like, your liver functions are totally out of whack. All your blood work for your liver is just like bizarre. So, yeah. So I had a pudding and I had applesauce. Totally fine. I had saltines. I had some Ritz crackers, bread, right? I had a lot of water, nothing else. Very, very bland, almost all liquid diet. And every day I pushed it just a little, right? A little cookie, maybe, you know, just one or two of whatever Sarah's nibbling. Cause you know, you're fully prepared for fucking nightmare, right? Nothing. A good 5 days goes by, and you have to understand that I'm waiting for like my life to be altered and this to be awful, right? Chekhov's chicken nugget. Yeah, you're fucking right. Nothing happens, so I go, all right, Sarah, let's open up this pit. Let's get McDonald's. So I got McDonald's and I got chicken nuggets and I was like, let's get the fattiest thing they have on the menu, right? I'm gonna have burgers, chicken nuggets, a soda. I got like a hot and spicy McChicken sandwich. I'm like, let's fucking send it, because I am tired of tiptoeing around what my body's gonna do to me when I have something fatty. Let's just full send, right? Because what I'm doing is, it's like, I need to know, like, if I can go to the grocery store or not without there being some sort of medical emergency, if you know what I'm talking about. Wink, wink. So we go fucking, so I'm like, applesauce, pudding, crackers. Nope, fuck it, full send. I can't do this. Too much tension. So we get McDonald's, get hot and spicy, got chicken nuggets, full send. Nothing. Fucking nothing happens to me. Nothing at all. Right? Yeah. Fucking nothing happens in any way, shape, or form. Now, I'm going to speak in a very coded language here, because one, I'm really humiliated by a lot of my body, but also, it's icky. I get it. So, I was already on very familiar speaking terms with my gastroenterologist. That was not my first endoscopy, right? Like, I've got all kinds of issues that exist, right? Whatever that surgery did made everything better, but also didn't change that much. So basically what was going on is, like, for whatever reason, like, I was basically existing as a medical emergency, got my gallbladder out, and now I'm okay. And what the pain was pancreatitis. So it wasn't my gallbladder necessarily, but my gallbladder was a factor. We don't know if it was biliary dyskinesia or the gallbladder or the gallstones, if there were any, because we didn't see any gallstones and we couldn't check for biliary dyskinesia. But what they did see was severe pancreatitis. And so your pancreas is that third organ in the biliary system, you know, liver, gallbladder, pancreatitis. And that's connected to your universal tract. And so the pancreatitis, that inflammation, causes a lot of swelling. It pushes on everything, but also it's in a slightly different position. Your gallbladder is in the upper right quadrant, or the right upper quadrant of your abdomen. Your pancreas is dead center. So when I was having problems and pain under my sternum, that was the pancreas. The other thing is that your pancreas pushes on your diaphragm. So that's why it was extremely painful to breathe. And that was also why it was disrupting everything. So something was going on. It caused like pancreatitis, or I had chronic pancreatitis or something. My gallbladder finally failed, but it already wasn't working. And so now there's like this weird medical mystery as to what actually happened. But We went through all my other records because I'm on other medications that have necessitated me getting a lot of blood work done. So thankfully, we can track my lipase over the years. And I have always had high lipase. And all of my doctors looked at that and they said, oh, okay, you have fatty liver. So fatty liver is a condition you can have where your liver is holding on to a lot of adipose tissue or whatever, fat, right? And it's not able to process it. The big cause of that is alcoholism. And that leads to cirrhosis of the liver, which is scarring, which is permanent damage. And the only way you can treat that is through a liver transplant. Right? So they're like, oh, it's high, but we don't really know what to do with it. And I guess it must not have been that astronomically high. It was just elevated. So I apparently have had this for a long time. It's been bothering me for a long time. And instead of taking it seriously, everyone's just been like, oh, okay, you have just like some problems here and there. Drink more water and take like, yeah, well, that was the other thing is like sometimes it'd be normal. So the cure for pancreatitis, and this is where you can search through my Twitter and get another fucking hilarious tweet. The cure for pancreatitis is, get this, pain management. Oh yeah, no, sorry. So the alcohol was really funny because I was like, yeah, I don't drink. And especially in the last 8 years, especially in the last 8 years, I've been on a medication that is borderline lethal to have alcohol with. Like, I'm not allowed to drink alcohol anymore. It's really important that I don't. So it was like, yeah, I'm not drinking and I'm not lying. So help. Yeah, it was, all of that was just amazing. And so anyway, so yeah. So the fatty liver can cause cirrhosis of the liver. That necessitates a liver transplant. All of these lipase readings being this high, also life-threatening. Whatever was going on with the gallbladder was so bad, was also life-threatening. And then with the pancreatitis, there is no cure. It's just pain management until it resolves itself. So whatever was causing the pancreatitis, but I was saying about the funny tweet is that I spoke to my primary care and she was like, yeah, the pancreas is such a little bitch of an organ. I was like, that's such a funny way to put it, but okay. It was great. Yeah, she was like, oh, it's such a little bitch of an organ, and it's really difficult and this, that, and the other. And so the one thing I was concerned about is that your pancreas is responsible for insulin and insulin production and regulation. And so I was like, hey, am I going to have like blood sugar problems? Like, am I functionally going to be some kind of like diabetic, which is a serious condition, right? And she's like, we just have to track it. But all of this going on with your system could have killed you. Yeah, my primary care is a fucking badass, dude. She also has to put up with me, and if that doesn't explain it, I don't know what does.
We got into that video call and she was like, okay, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. No. So when I got into that video call where she was like, yeah, I've never seen lipase numbers this high. We got into the call and she was like, okay, what the fuck? You're one organ lighter? What is going on? She's fucking badass. No, yeah. So whatever was going on with my biliary system was also life-threatening. And so like recently, and I mean, like, I've been funny, I've been cracking jokes. I mean this seriously. There's a NASCAR driver. I think his name was Bush. Yeah. He just died from pneumonia. He contracted pneumonia, and like it was something like within 24 hours, he'd gone septic, and it was a sobering moment because I'm like, fuck, I was in exactly his shoes, like that. Obviously my condolences to his family. Like, that's really sad. It really, really sucks. And it's just not something you think about. You don't think that like in this day and age, Kyle Busch, yeah. It's just like, you don't think in this day and age, it's like, oh yeah, double pneumonia is going to like take you out. You're like, oh, okay, I start coughing, go to the hospital, everything will be fine. But like, it's extremely serious. And, the only reason, the only difference between me and Kyle Busch is luck. It was Luck and Sarah. Sarah just cleared her throat at me. But yeah, no, if it wasn't for Sarah, I'd be dead 2 times over because of all of my experiences with the hospital. I went through I've been put under twice. I've had countless procedures done. And yeah, sepsis will just get you, you know. So yeah, so as of last Thursday, I finally had the last meeting with cardio. I had the last I've had the okay from my primary care, the okay from my gastroenterologist. My sutures are almost completely back, but yeah, that's where I've been. Glad we got Sarah to yell at me. Yeah, exactly. But that's where I've been. That's what's been happening. It's a lot. I think we all deserve a treat after that. Oh fuck! I forgot the funniest part in all this. So, oh my god, Merkwin with the 10 gifted. Thank you so much. Oh my god, thank you. That means a lot. Thank you so much. That's really, really kind. Everybody say thank you to Merkwin. This is why men live longer when they enter a relationship. I believe it. I believe it 1,000%. Well, so here's the funniest part of all of it, and I know you guys don't like when I say it's funny. Here's the funniest part of all of it, and we can thank Merkwin for this. Oh my god. Oh my god, everybody, guys, Kova with the 5 and Merkwin with the sub. You guys, you listen. We're good. We're good, but you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Everybody say thank you. Everybody say thank you. So anyway, so here's the funniest part.
This is so traumatized when you saying funny.
Yeah, no. Here's genuinely the funniest part. So I think it was like 2 weeks after I had come back after the double pneumonia saga. My therapist was like, yep, so I'm going on hiatus. So my therapist has been gone for the last like 3 or 4 months. And so I get in a video call with my primary care, and she's just like, how are you handling all of this, like emotionally? And I'm like, great, I'm doing great. I'm having so much fun. Hi, well, okay, so I was watching the VOD back and I realized that I missed a couple details that are actually kind of important here. So I just wanted to make sure I kind of finish the story. So first off, the reason why those 3 days in the hospital with no food and no water was such a big deal was because I had completely emptied my system in the ER, right? Like projectile vomiting 9 times meant that I was getting admitted with no food in my system and severely dehydrated. So that was like the starting point. And that's what made that just suck so much. The other thing that I forgot to mention, I think I just got too excited once I got to the end of the story, was the actual conclusion and the cause of all of this. So when I saw my gastro for the last time, she was like, yeah, so I was reviewing your upper endoscopy, and there's like a valve, or like this, basically where your esophagus becomes your stomach. They can measure how well it's functioning. 1 is totally normal. 4 is it's not working at all. Apparently I'm at a level 2. So so it's just a little bit weaker, which means I'm more prone to acid reflux. But if you go through some of my VODs, and this is something that's kind of always happened to me, is I always get a little burpy when I'm nervous, or like escalated, I guess. That could very well have been this whole biliary system being backed up and then causing that. But, and this is important, there's a possibility, if not a likelihood, that night when I got double pneumonia, I actually aspirated on some of that bile acid goober stuff, right? If you remember, I mentioned that my epiglottis was sore. That's because that's where the acid was going down, basically, right? So my stomach problems actually caused the double pneumonia, as well as the pancreatitis, as well as whatever the hell was going on in there. So that kind of ties the whole story together nice and neatly. So, all right, back to the action.
I have things to add that you didn't do.
Oh my god, don't embarrass me. Oh my god, wait, no, I forgot.
What?
So you guys are gonna love this. My dad actually came. My
That's
dad,
what I was gonna
yeah,
say.
my dad actually came to the hospital and he actually gave me a little model kit with a TIE fighter and a TIE Advance. He actually like showed up and apparently we had a conversation. Like,
Ethan asked me like the next day. He's like, "Wait, did my dad come?" I'm like, "Yeah."
yeah, my dad actually showed up. Yeah.
I was gonna say the other funny one was when you were in the recovery.
Uh-huh.
I came down, and they had like a nice nurse there,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Oh, did he get water?" She's like, "Yes," and I gave him an applesauce. He was very happy, and Ethan looks at me. He's like, "That was the best applesauce I've ever had in my entire life."
Yeah. It was the only it was the first thing I'd eaten in like 3 days. Oh my god, yeah. No, I wasn't clairvoyant. It just wasn't a dream. I thought I was dreaming cuz I was still recovering from being put under. My dad was actually there. It was oh my god. Yeah, no. It wasn't clairvoyant. It was my dad. It wasn't a dream. I thought I was dreaming, but it was the propofol. it was yeah, no. Well, the other thing is the one thing I used to do as a kid, and this is the way my dad and I bonded, is before we like play World of Warcraft together. When I was very little, my dad and I used to play X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, which is like an old DOS game. And that was one of the ways I learned to read, because I was reading all the like mission logs, and we had like the strategy guide. And so the way that I learned to read was Dr. Seuss and reading the specs of the A-Wing and the X-Wing in like the in-lore universe reason as to why like the A-Wing has less hull thickness or something like that. And yeah. And like I was really, really upset that the sequel trilogy cut the turbines in the X-Wing wings in half, that kind of thing. It was, yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. I remember a few years back, Steam had a sale. I bought all of them, and they're those games, those old DOS games, where like every single button on the keyboard does something, and you don't use 98% of them. You know that, and there's another flight sim that my dad and I would play. I say flight sim in quotations. It's called Descent, and Descent 2 and Descent 3. Oh fuck, those were my games. But like, just to give you an idea, it's basically a first person shooter, but you're flying. To go forward, you push A, and to go backward, you push Z. Because this was back in the day before like people did the WASD thing. We played so many flight sims growing up that when I first played Doom, we played it with a joystick, because that's what we had. And it was like, oh, it's like Descent, right? We didn't realize that it was different. So yeah, that was my experience there. So that's what the little TIE Fighter figurine means. So yeah, every time I see Star Wars, I'm like, oh, is there gonna be a star fight? Like, is there gonna be like a dog fight? That's my favorite part. It's like the dogfight over whatever planet they were on in Rogue One was like sick, you know? Yeah. Anyways, yeah, my dad was actually there. Yes. So Sarah's right. She texted twice that that she had to take a week off because her husband was in the hospital. I was in the hospital twice. I legitimately almost died twice. And painfully too. Not like going in the night, like tossing and turning and in pain, fucking misery. I can't, I wish I could, I really, really wish that I could. But I can't, just for like safety reasons and also like, I guess HIPAA. But if any of the healthcare workers that took care of me see this, especially the nurse team, you guys are fucking champions. They were so fucking amazing. I can't even start. They were so cool. They were absolutely wonderful. I cannot thank them enough.
I have to tell you a story I didn't tell you.
Oh, what?
So, speaking of amazing, how amazing the nurses were,
Mm-hmm.
in the second hospital stay,
Mm-hmm.
they came to take you for some scan of something.
Mm-hmm.
And then the nurse you had was really sweet. She
Mhm.
like, you left and she turned around. She's like, "How are you doing, honey?"
Aww.
So then I cried because she was nice to me, and then she was like, "Do you want a hug, sweetheart?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah.
And then I put it all back together because I'm a badass. But she was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not okay."
Yeah. Like all the medical staff were absolutely amazing. Even the dickhole doctors, that I saw in the first hospital, they got it done. Like that ER doctor, he saw the troponin go at 0.1. Is it a little premature? Maybe, but I'd rather have an overly cautious doctor than one who didn't give a shit. But yeah, dude, the like the nurses especially, but also like all the techs, the people who were giving me who were taking my vitals in the middle of the night.
The lady that came to take our trash.
The lady who came to take our trash. Those food service guys were smiling every time they came by, and I was like, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. And they're like, yeah, we noticed your food allergies, so we made sure to not give you like this and this. And I was like, oh my god, you guys are awesome. You guys are absolutely fantastic. So yeah, yeah. Oh my god. So oh, Sarah will tell you the funny stuff I was mumbling in my sleep later. Later, not now.
No, come here.
But
Come here.
what? What's wrong? Oh, Sarah wants to introduce you to Popsicle.
He won't make any noise because I picked him up now. Popsicle's here. He says hi, even though he won't meow because I want him to.
Yeah, he's right here.
He's right here. He's a baby.
Oh, and I'll have you tweeted out your Instagram?
I have not. You guys should come
So-
follow my kitty.
Sarah has an Instagram where she takes pictures of all of our pets, and she does cute videos with them and stuff. I'll post it on like my Twitter and my Blue Sky and stuff like that. Yes, we have 2 cats, Ice Cream and Popsicle. And they're very cute.
He said his name and he whipped his head around to look at you. Ice Cream had kitty COVID, and so we had to help her. That was an adventure in itself. And then Popsicle, his toe beans are all fused together. Snow cone, that's cute. We wanna get an orange cat and call him Sherbert. But yeah, no, so Popsicle, all of his toe beans are fused together, so he has like 1 or 2 claws, but he doesn't really have claws. They don't grow normally, and he can't really bend his ankles, so he moves a little different. He can't quite grab things or get a hold of things, so we have a bunch of carpets out, and things for him to play with. Yeah. So he's Gelato. Every once in a while I call Ice Cream Elada or Elado. Eladita. Yeah. Yeah, no, and then we have a gecko called Smog. And we now have a hamster called Graham Cracker. Is there a specific reason why is that? It's how he was born, just birth defect, just all 4 of his paws. It's a funny story when we adopted him. What kind of gecko, Sarah? It's a crested gecko.
Crested gecko. It's an interesting story. Like when we saw Popsicle and we said we wanted to, we were interested in adopting him. They got back to us within about 15 minutes because he was almost a failed adoption in that nobody wanted him because of his paws. And we're like, nah, fuck that. He can live with us. Fuck that. He can live with us. He's fine. Oh yeah. All right. Well, glad to let everybody know where I've been, why I haven't been streaming. Before you ask, yes, I did all of Subnautica 2 the day it came out. I'm so pissed off at how short it is. I wanted to get like a Cyclops or the Sea Truck. I wanted to get the bigger vehicle, and they don't have it. Spoilers. Sarah and I have been replaying Satisfactory. We finished The Pit season 1 and 2. They were both fantastic. Sarah has not seen The Boys, so we just finished season 4. We're now starting season 5, and we're currently in the middle of Gen V season 1. And yeah, so that's where I've been. That's why I haven't been streaming. I am currently working on a video. I'm very enthusiastic about getting this video out there. And yeah, we know the season 5 of The Boys sucks. We're ready for it. Oh, thank you, Sarah 863G. I appreciate that. So yeah, that's where I've been. But I'm gonna head out and I'm gonna have some dinner and probably work on my factory and Satisfactory. Yeah, but that's it. That's it for now. Oh my god. if the Instagram isn't valid, Sarah, I'll send it. Do you want to some fatty spicy dinner? Absolutely.
Hold on, I'm working on it.
Oh, Sarah, guys, look at the chat. Sarah's sending you a link to the Insta. I am also very glad that I'm still alive, because now I can complain about more movies. Yeah. Oh, did you link it?
I'm working on it.
All right, guys, stay in the chat because Sarah's gonna link you the Instagram with all of our pets. But that's gonna be it for me. All right, thank you guys so much. I love you all. I really appreciate it. Stay safe out there, and thank you for all the follows and the subs. You guys are absolute champions. And thank you to all the healthcare workers. Thank you so much. Okay, love you. Bye.